All right, here we go. We are back for Red Skies. Hey guys, it's been a couple weeks, mostly because of medical procedures and things. Yeah, whatever. Last time, you and your party continued to explore Tyrok's Landing. You started the day by splitting up the party because let's split the party with a couple of you, or three of you actually, Iylis, Hylough, and Praedyth, heading to find Cormac so that you could resolve Cormac's issue with being accused of stealing the sheep. The rest of you went searching for the old man and his granddaughter Rhona. And the group of you found old man Gadner, old man Goiter, and found that he had some strange disease. Where part of his arm was missing. He had these strange boils where you could, if you touched them, they were boil-like, but you could see into his body through them. Like they were transparent, like he was fading away, but not. So you talked with Rhona, who was there, turned out, to find out what had happened and what was going on there. Meanwhile, the other three had found Cormac, went all the way up to the Skirlocks, where they produced the strange jet black wyvern to prove that indeed it was this creature that was taking the sheep. Convinced the oldest Skirlock's son, Olaf, that indeed this was the case. He then bought the head off of you to, you assume, stuff and mount on his lentil or something. Lintel, who knows? Lentils are a bean. Then you headed back, where all of you kind of met up again, and then headed back to Old Man Gadner's, where utilizing Rhux, or no, maybe Rhux did this before you came back. Actually, you probably did. Actually, before you guys met back up, Rhux was able to heal the disease that was ravaging through Old Man Gadner.
That is true.
And then he described that he had actually recently, like a week or so ago, been at the lighthouse and had seen the ghost, and the ghost had tried to go through him, and then he started noticing things were missing from his body, and he eventually fell unconscious, and that's when his granddaughter found him that way. And that's why Rhona has been missing for the past couple of weeks, it turns out, because she's been trying to keep her grandfather alive with the help of the local herbalist, Ivan. Yvonne really was only doing what she could to basically keep him comfortable. She didn't really know what was going on. Rhux then healed him. Rhona and Gadner were grateful, so they were willing to allow you to use his small skiff fishing boat to go to the lighthouse, which you guys wanted to do. So you guys all met up, then got the little fisherman skiff, and headed to the lighthouse. Reaching the lighthouse, you had you were able to talk to Timo. Timo was a little weird, but a little leery is probably the right way to put it. And he explained, that as far as he has known the lighthouses, or the tower, has always been there. They built the lighthouse about 70 years ago around the tower, and kind of put the light up on top of the roof. There was a flat roof, but they kind of put the thing on top of that, built it on top of that, and now he just provides oil to the lamps and lives in a small building down below. You guys waited until the evening came, because that's when he said normally you would see it, and as you guys went up top and saw, you actually did, or at least I should rephrase that, Dresd'a did see the ghost initially. You're not exactly sure why, but it tried to pass into her, and she shrugged it out, and it kind of actually, before that, you guys did see a small portion of it, as it seemed to manifest more than normal, as it then got into her, tried to possess her, but at least it went into her body, and she forcefully expelled it. Then it disappeared, and as we were about to end the session, or as we ended the session, you guys noticed that it had reappeared in front of the lower portion of the tower / lighthouse, and that is kind of where we ended at. So let me do this, and oops, I should make this active. And so we are back here at the lighthouse. like I said, at the end of the last time you guys, the ghost had reappeared here. You guys were up on top of here, and it was dark out. It was basically past midnight. What do you guys want to do? And you can certainly ask questions if you don't remember everything.
Want to bust some ghosts?
Can we talk to the ghost?
Well, you tried that, and all you hear is sort of a moan. The last time you tried it, you don't really. There's nothing really understandable from what you hear. It's more like the wind whistling more than anything else. Oh, I also forgot that you guys did do a detect magic on the tower, and you saw that there was a torrent of abjuration magic and an actual abjuration ley line with a slight maybe shadow magic, or probably not necromancy, but a dark vein running through it of other type of magic. Another ley line of some sort, but not as strong.
I remember seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
So if we...
And you do remember, Dresd'a, that when it went into you, it tried to take the place of where your spirit would reside. And you and the spirit forcefully ejected it back out.
Can I communicate with my bound spirit to see if he discovered anything during that brief time?
The bound spirit kind of gives you the powers, and when it's bound to you, it's more part of your soul. So you can't, the sort of the conversation you have with it is sort of the influence it has upon you. Like, you're always wanting to.
I was just wondering if I could get any sort of impressions, like maybe a picture in my mind or an intuition of it was trying to communicate by possessing versus it was trying to take you over for nefarious purposes.
I mean, the spirit within you, your bounded spirit, did help you try to evict it. So you're not sure. Didn't like it. Unfortunately, you're not sure if that means he doesn't like it, or remember, you're bound to the spirit, so it's trying to fulfill its bind. It's part of the bargain. So maybe that's why it did it. Yeah, it's hard to say.
I would caution you guys, it tried to possess me, I guess is the closest thing I can think of. Whether it was trying to do it to communicate or whether it was doing it for nefarious reasons, I don't know.
So you guys watch the ghost. Yep, you guys watch the ghost down there, kind of, like I said, reappear kind of right in here. And it's sort of, Dresd'a, you see the ghost. The rest of you do not. Dresd'a, you've been pointing it out, but the rest of them, you don't really see anything. You see it here, and it sort of drifts away from the tower, and then it drifts towards the tower. And then it drifts away from the tower, and then it drifts towards the tower. It gets right up to the tower, but it can't seem, but you don't, normally you would think a ghost would just go right through a wall like this, but it can't seem to do it.
It can't enter the tower.
It doesn't ever go into the tower, so... You don't know if that means it can't go into the tower or if it just doesn't want to go into the tower. You're not sure.
If I approach it, do I notice any change in that pattern?
Pattern of?
Up and down, steady up and down kind of thing. Like if I start walking towards it, does it stop or speed up?
Yes, actually, if you start to walk towards it, it goes back towards near the tower and waits. And when you stop, it then it does the same thing again. The rest of you are watching Dresd'a just act like a crazy woman.
I'm going to follow Dresd'a and keep close to her.
Okay.
Yeah, what's going on, Dresd'a?
So there's a ghost at the base of the tower. He's pacing back and forth on the stairs. And when I approach, he
you
waits
guys briefly saw it last time when it was up on the... But very, very faintly when it was up here. At this point in time, you can't really see it, but you remember last time you were much closer to where it was when you saw it. So maybe it's just distance.
Does it look like he's trying to get me to go to the tower?
Give me an insight check.
Insight. Oh, this is going to suck. Oh, not too bad.
Yeah, you think maybe this thing is trying to communicate non-verbally in some fashion, and it is trying to get you to come closer to the tower.
Okay. I think we should approach the tower. You guys just keep a respectful distance. That way I can give you some warning if something happens. And I'll approach the tower cautiously.
Okay. As you kind of come down closer and closer to the tower, you notice... Well, actually, give me a perception check.
Oh, boy.
You and John love to make rolls, don't you? All right.
Oh, hey, not
He rolls well, though.
You, as you get closer, you realize like it's dark out, but you notice that there's a stronger darkness, kind of in an arch-like way at the tower, like on the surface of the tower. It's sort of a blurry, shadowy, wavering shadow, as if, and I mean, as you watch it, you got an 18. As you watch it, you can sometimes see what looks to be maybe a door handle, like a big round brass ring. And occasionally the blurriness and the waviness kind of coalesces into what looks to be maybe stone-like, but it's still very dark. And as you kind of approach, I mean, yeah, that's what you see. You tell me if you're going to approach it or not.
Yeah, I'm going to approach it.
All right, so you start to get a bit closer, and as you get up to it and go to, you kind of look it over, it definitely looks like something is odd with the base of the tower. It didn't look like this way during the day, but definitely looks odd right now. And as you guys are kind of all, watching what Dresd'a does and that sort of stuff, Dresd'a, the ghost tries to get inside you again. So give me a charisma saving throw, unless you wish to not. You can choose to not resist if you don't want to. If you want to.
By this point, I think he's trying to help, so I'm going to go ahead and try to not resist and see what he wants.
So you don't resist. Dresd'a, you feel another spirit enter into your body. The rest of you guys, as you were getting closer, you did see sort of that slight, faint outline of something very blurry and, for lack of a better term, ghost-like there. And then suddenly you see it just go straight into Dresd'a again. This time, Dresd'a kind of stiffens. And you guys visibly see her slightly change a little bit as the current bound spirit gets ejected. Clearly, the spirit is higher level, so you can't have more hit plus your other one together. That's the gist that's the feeling you're getting. Okay. But also, this spirit then basically shoves you to the back. So you're in your own mind. You're watching what's about to transgress now. Dresd'a,
are you all right?
Shakes her head a little bit, and she turns to you guys and says,
"There is no Dresd'a, only Zul."
There's only Zul. No, you call this person Dresd'a?
Yes.
And who would you be?
I am Emrys. I am the owner of the tower. And Dresd'a kind of blinks a bit. You can see that she had come with the you can see those golden arrows that were in her quiver have disappeared as well. So something has definitely changed about her, more so than just
and my eyebrows are no longer feathery.
Yes, your eyebrows are no longer feathery. She doesn't sort of have like a feather-like mask over her face anymore. I needed one moment. And he says, "Stop fighting me." He actually verbally says that. Okay. I am trapped in the shadow realm. If I could do a sort of a ghostly voice through reverb or something, I would do it, but I cannot. So, and yes, definitely the voice coming out of her is Dresd'a's voice, but sort of not. Like, there's definitely a quality to it that's more hollow, more reverb, more echoey than normal. I tried. Oh, yeah. Let me finish. With the person I can. And he kind of touches or she kind of touches the stone wall again, and it's like feeling. And then she starts to basically do a strange gestures and speak some odd words. If somebody wishes to try to figure out what it is they can.
Wish to try to
roll, Arcana.
Mm-hmm.
How can I Arcana? How can I Arcana?
You've never encountered what this guy is doing.
Arcanta is more like
Praedyth. There are some of the gestures look kind of familiar, like maybe a more advanced version of maybe Misty Step or something like that. But you're not exactly sure exactly what it is. Like there are some things that are familiar about it, but it's not exactly that. And after a moment, Dresd'a, you have a great seat for this because you're in the back of your head, but you can still sort of see through your eyes a bit. I mean, you just can't drive. After about a minute or so, that blurry spot that you were seeing, Dresd'a, for the rest of you, it was just a blank wall, coalesces into a circular, lack of a better term, dark whirlpool. So whirlpool of shadows and grays that slowly comes to think of sort of the Doctor Strange kind of teleport ring.
Right.
But this starts black, and then the blackness reveals a door beyond it. But as you kind of look through the portal, because for lack of a better term, it is a portal of some sort, you can see that the door itself, well, it looks like it's made of stone. It's made of gray, of drab gray stone, and it looks like it's just a door sitting on a rocky outcropping in the middle of nowhere. Like you can see through the portal, you can see beyond it, you can see dark clouds, you can see a black liquid, almost as if it is like an ocean there, but it's not. It's not like the blackness of night. It's like black water, like some kind of black fluid. And the world around there is all these grays and varying shades of gray and black. The being who's controlling Dresd'a turns to you guys and says, come with me. We will resolve, and I will get your friend back to you. And she.
Well, can you tell us a little more? We can help if we know what's going on.
No,
we all have abilities.
You cannot help me. And she steps through and puts her hand on the door, and the door starts to open up. And inside you can see, it looks like it's opening up into the bottom floor of a tower. And she steps through. Is anybody else going through with him?
Yes, I'm right there.
Yeah.
Can't make a new character. Leave her there. Yeah, I'm going through.
I guess.
Entering in, as you kind of walk through the portal and you kind of look to your left and right before you go into the door, it looks like you are walking into a different plane. Like the landscape is somewhat similar but different. The door is on a rocky promontory. The rock kind of continues on towards, like, it's not like it's a small island here. The rock, you're on a promontory cliff and the coast continues either side. There is a black water. You think it's water. It seems to move and flow and do have a wave-like presence to it, like water does. Kind of crests and falls with waves and things of that nature. So you think it's water. The sky is basically a series of gray clouds, which is also kind of very strange. And there is, other than the color on yourselves, which as you step through the portal, sort of the color becomes more drab. It dims. It's almost as if
you go into black and white.
Well, no, you don't go into black and white, but it's almost as if the world you're in, or the environment you're in, is trying to suck the color from you. But you're only in this briefly as you walk through the portal, through this doorway, and into color again. It's hard to see the color because it's dark in this room, but you can definitely tell from a faint glow coming up from up above somewhere, a faint kind of orangish yellow glow. You can see very dimly in this room. The room is maybe about 40 feet across, which is approximately the diameter of the tower. Maybe 30 feet, 35 feet. It's hard to say exactly. You can see that there is dust lies heavy around this room. There is several nice looking but partially degraded chairs, a sort of a chase kind of lounge kind of thing. There is as you come in, there is a fireplace that is currently cold and empty. There are several tables up against the walls around the room. Some of them have books. Some of them have cooking utensils. Some of them have writing utensils. Clearly a previously lived in place, just currently all dark and no one's living here. And given the amount of dust that is lying over everything, no one's been in here for a very long time. As you guys all make it through the portal and through the door, you see the portal close shut. You see the door is closed behind, and Dresd'a kind of thank you. One more thing we must do. I must put myself back into my own body. Now wait here while I finish this. She starts to head up the stairwell that's kind of on here that circles around up. Are you guys staying down here, or what are you doing?
No, I mean, let's come with you just to.
Is there anything else in this bottom of the tower?
What do you mean, anything else in the bottom of the tower?
Like anything of interest, like, I don't know, papers?
I just said there were books and writing utensils and stuff like that. I mean, it's all very dim. There's a very faint glow coming from the top of the stairs that Dresd'a starts to go up.
Mm-hmm.
That's all that's illuminating in here. There's no torches or anything like that. It's very low light at this point.
Gotcha.
Have we ever heard of the name Emrys?
No. Well, I mean, give me a history check.
History.
You have to have history. What can I just anybody?
Yeah, I actually do have history.
You don't have to have history,
but
yeah, I mean, Emrys is like any other name. Lots of. I mean, it's an unusual name, but not anything you've ever really heard before.
Okay.
So like the people that we had met who were talking about the ghost or whatever. They
just called it a ghost.
They just called it a ghost. They never mentioned,
they never gave it a
I
name
guess,
or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that T-Rock never. It was abandoned supposedly when he got here, right?
Correct. Dresd'a/Emrys starts heading up the stairs. While they have told you to stay down, they don't seem to notice or bother you if you follow up behind.
I'll follow.
After about 15 feet of climbing stairs, kind of circling around, there's sort of a spot in the ceiling where you come into the next room, or the room above. As you reach the top, you see a chamber. The glow gets brighter and brighter, and you see a chamber lit with 5 braziers placed at the points of a star engraved on the floor. Engraved or inscribed, you're not 100% sure because it looks engraved, but magic, In the center is the body of it. Looks like a large. You swear it's a human-sized. Well, you would almost call it an orc. It's hard, but the face is not right. The face is too narrow, something just off about it. And that is when I will show you this. So it kind of looks like that. So the ears are wrong for an orc. It doesn't have the tusks that an orc would potentially have, but it's clearly not human either.
Size.
And it's definitely human size. Maybe.
Kind of goblin to me.
Yeah, maybe.
That much bigger, obviously.
So that body is lying in the center of this thing, and there's dust covering all over it. Actually, if you would like, you can give me a medicine check or a history check to potentially figure out what the person is. Dresd'a then sighs, and it sounds like relief. And then you see Dresd'a kind of fall to her knees as that sort of slight glow comes out of her and sort of slowly drifts across into the circle and into the body that is lying on the floor. 9. It definitely looks goblin-like, but it's too tall. 3. So as you watch this, merges with the body, and as the spirit disappears into the body, all the lights snuff out with like a, and all you can see is a faint glow of purplish blue on what are runes that you missed before because of the brightness of the light inside, of a faint glow of these purplish blue glow of runes inscribed in the floor inside and around that star-shaped pattern. The runes, cool. The runes slowly fade, and as the runes slowly fade and the light kind of dims, you can see that the body has started breathing again. And after a moment, you can hear the rustle of it kind of sit up, and in a different voice now,
on Dresd'a.
In a different voice, it says "Baja," and the braziers come up again, and you can see this Think Man sitting in the floor, kind of looking dazed, maybe a little exhausted, maybe a little bit perplexed, as he looks at you guys and says, Who are my saviors? My
rescuers?
Rescuers. There you go. That's the word I was looking for.
I'm Dresd'a.
Yeah.
Dresd'a, you feel like you've been through a beating.
Do I take damage?
No, you haven't taken any damage, but you have one level of exhaustion.
I'm tired.
Yeah, you're pretty tired. So you do have one level of exhaustion.
We are travelers from all over and heard tales of the tower. I am Marcus. Is this obviously your tower?
Yes.
No one's ever known whose it was.
This is the Aegis Tower. I constructed it.
What year is it? My name is Iylis. I'm a sorcerer.
he says, well, there's a very strange question, but when I did the ritual, it was 786 Keshmar age.
Oh.
Have we ever heard of Keshmar?
Never heard it. Well, actually, give me a history check.
History.
Yeah, intelligence history. You can do intelligence if you want.
Well, too late.
I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it's
actually,
Marcus and Hylough, you've never heard of Keshmar. Same with Iylis, you've never heard of Keshmar, but you do know that there is a desert on the south end of the Sirvine Island, where the Searly Kingdom is, that is known as Kesh. It is the desert Kesh. And Iylis, as part of your studies growing up, you have heard that there are ruins of some sort in that desert.
Very interesting.
I'm gonna grab a drink. I'll be right back. Y'all go ahead.
No problem.
Well, it's 1284 DC as far as I know. I don't know if that's how to reference that with your calendar or anything, but it seems like it's been a couple hundred years at least.
He looks a bit confused for a moment. He's like, so the Emperor Corbine.
The Emperor
is no longer. Is he no longer the Emperor?
I don't know of any Emperor. Do I?
No. What Emperor? I mean, the current king of the Searly Kingdom is.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It was a kingdom.
Is Gareth IV. You know that the diary, the Kingdom of Cordale, has a queen by the name of Melisandre. The diary shires are basically, a bunch of confederacy kind of things that are locally governed by councils. Caramagale is run by a council. The city-states are either councils or a warlord. You don't know of any empires.
There are no empires.
Seems like
there are no emperors.
Your emperor's age has come and gone. But where are you from originally?
I'm from Keshmar, the nation of Keshmar.
The nation of Keshmar. I know of an island called Kesh, I believe.
It was a desert. It's a desert on the southern
desert area. A desert area called Kesh. Would that? I mean, it's.
Well, we were having some droughts when I was. That's part of the reason for my research here, but. Well, give me one moment. Let us.
It's so funny.
Let us.
We were having a couple droughts.
We were having a couple droughts. And I mean, he kind of looks at you a little bit funny, Iylis, as well. And he's like, and you as well, Hylough, a bit. He's like, strange. You look similar to some of the barbarians to the north of my of one of my sister's home. Well, no matter. Let us go down and have a seat, and hopefully I can maybe some food, or maybe if you have some. I'm famished. This body clearly has not eaten in quite some time.
I would imagine. Is this the top of the tower? Can we tell?
You're not at the top of the tower. There is more stuff that goes up.
Okay.
He heads down and speaks a few words, and the dust kind of goes away on the bottom floor, and a fire starts up in the fireplace, and he looks at what would be potentially the larder or something like that. And at this point in time is when you start to notice that like the food there is desiccated and or rotted away, and I mean it's long since been gone. And he kind of looks at it funny for a moment. He's like, well, I mean,
I'll grab some stuff out of my pouch.
Yeah, I'll start to give him some.
I'm so sorry that I am unable to be a good host. As fine a host as your friend Dresd'a, was it? Is?
Good thing I brought chips and dip.
And he kind of sits back down again, and he gestures for you guys to take a seat. What brought you to this tower? You said you had heard of it.
So, you see...
As far as I know, many people hadn't even gotten this far and into this unexplored portion of the world.
Well, about, what was it, 100 years that T-Rock...
Yeah, it was about 85 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, it was about 85 years that that someone came here for the first time, I think, besides you. And they found your tower... but it found it abandoned.
Couldn't get in.
So at least 85 years.
At least.
There's a reason for that. I have made it so that the only way into the tower is through a place I call the Shadowfell.
Yeah.
But you said you got stuck in there.
I was... have a seat and we will discuss this in a moment.
I want to get stuck in the Shadow Realm and become a ghost.
I found this particular strong ley line. You guys know what a ley line is? A magical line of energy. This one was particularly strong in abjuration, defensive magic, as some of you might know it as. I found since it's such a strong spot, it makes manipulating abjuration magic more easily. It's performed here. So I built the tower and put in many defenses to prevent, enemies or even accidental monsters or things like that from being able to disturb me while I was doing research. Just occurred to me that his common would not be anywhere close to your guys' common. And at that point is when you guys notice that he is saying words, but his voice, his mouth doesn't match up with the words that you're hearing.
Gotcha.
So either he's speaking to you telepathically and he's just saying the words, saying things out loud to make you feel better, or he is got some kind of magic that's translating for him, or you're not sure what. But it definitely, his mouth doesn't match up with the words you're hearing.
That's interesting.
No, it's also the DM just forgot that would know your common. So the DM is now.
It would just make sense.
Are you retconning?
I'm retconning a little bit here because I have to do something, otherwise you wouldn't learn what you're about to learn. So I was able to create.
Is he a Time Lord? Does he have a TARDIS nearby?
No. I was able to work great abjuration magic and create stones that could last for millennia. Some of these I shipped off to the homeland, to Keshmar, so that we could create great towers that could stand the test of time. But also during this time of research, I discovered a small sliver of a shadow ley line entwined with this massive flow of abjuration. I decided to research for where it came from and why it was intertwined with this particular one. Over the course of several years, it took me several years to figure out where this line came from. And once I did, I was able to open up a portal into what I am now calling the Shadowfell. Once I learned of the Shadowfell, I changed my door so that it would become even more difficult to enter my tower without my express permission, keeping thieves and enemies away. Although you see him think for a second, he's like, although 80 years, well, maybe they're dead by now then. As I started to explore this new portal, or this new plane, new realm more frequently, I decided to create a ritual that would allow my spirit to wander. Thereby, if something strange were to happen, it would snap back to my body. Unfortunately, I must have not gotten some part of the ritual correct, and I was trapped in my spirit form in the Shadowfell, but could only go up. I was still tethered to my body and could only go maybe 200 or 300 yards away from it. And that is what you discovered me in. It did take me about 10 or 15 years to figure out how to project a portion of my spirit into the material plane or into the physical world. And that is what you were seeing earlier.
You're telling me you figured out how to just be a ghost?
Well, not so much as being a ghost. I have been doing studies on how to manipulate the veil between the Shadowfell and the physical world. So it's just a matter of
that's cool.
Using some of that.
I really like that. That's a really interesting concept.
I'm not sure how long time has passed here. I mean, it seems definitely longer than, at least 80 years for what you say. Time in Shadowfell tends to move slightly different. This is why when we go through the portal into the gate here, I do it quickly so that we don't lose or gain too much time.
I see.
So the reason we came here is we heard stories of this tower, but also we came across an older man who knew this place well, who had seen your spirit, but he was struck ill when you moved through him.
Oh, that was time, like I said, is fuzzy for me. There was a man that could see me. I have been seeing him off and on for many, many years. This time I thought maybe I could gain control of his body and do as your friend was helped me to do, which is reopen the portal and get back in. But I found that his body was too frail to hold my spiritual essence. If I have caused him harm, that is not my intent.
I think he's well now, but yes, it was
very distressing for his daughter.
Oh,
But
so a couple questions. You mentioned your sister comes from someplace.
Keshmar.
Keshmar. Do we know where that is? Oh, she comes from Keshmar as well.
That's the
Yes, the Empire.
place that's a desert now.
Okay, and then you mentioned your enemies.
The Empire, the Empire of Keshmar.
Yeah, of course.
Where my kin live.
Oh, I thought that you were talking about some other place that she lived. And do you? Who are your enemies? Where are they?
Well,
yeah, they have a name.
Some of the barbarians to the north have been encroaching upon the Empire. I believe they call themselves the Sirdi or something like that. Some strange name.
I definitely know that one.
The dwarves in their citadels. The dwarves of Deltarach had always been a thorn in our side, trying to keep us from finding our own power base in the world. But beyond that, I mean, surely I had rivals in the Empire. A wizard of my stature always has some kind of rivals. But they were it was mostly to keep they what I would consider the thieves more than the enemies.
So I'd like to do an insight and see what type of vibe am I getting from you. He seems confused, but is he like super evil wizard vibe or anything? Any type of...
Go ahead.
Oh, absolutely. I love it.
Oh, well, I have no idea.
He's not, you don't get a super evil wizard vibe. He's a little, he doesn't sound confused. Like when he talks about, Keshmar and answering the question about who his enemies might be, he seems very lucid, very like, here, this is who I would consider, to be against me. Like he knows that stuff. When he talks about time passing and that sort of stuff, he definitely seems less sure of things because, as he said, the Shadowfell time moves differently. So he's not sure. Like Shadowfell time might move more quickly or might move much more slowly. You're not sure. Like he hasn't really given you any of that sort of indication of which way it is.
Well, I was gonna ask. So, can you tell me a little bit more about this Shadowfell realm? Does you say time doesn't really work the same way? How does that work? Does it move more quickly? Do you feel like you were in there for a short amount of time or a long period of time?
I mean, I had been in there for quite some time. I mean, but I believe time passes more slowly there. I was trying to research a way of actually moving through the Shadowfell from place to place.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was about to ask.
Praedyth, at that point, that something about that triggers something about that triggers a memory in you. And that's when you realize that he might be talking about what you know as being called the Waygates.
The Waygates.
So the Waygates are something the Diary wizards created 1,000 years ago to be able to move more quickly between the various islands of the Ire.
That's cool.
But it has since been corrupted.
Oh.
The Waygates aren't usable anymore?
You can't. No one knows how to open them anymore because the last wizard who opened them basically disappeared about 500 years ago.
But presumably this guy might know.
Well, I mean, give me an insight check at this point.
Okay. Can I roll anything tonight? This is ridiculous. I don't know.
I will
Welcome
give
to
you the
my world.
following. If the Diary Wizards made this made some of these gates about 1,000 years ago, and this guy is talking about like he was just starting to research it, give yourself some 2 + 2 and see if you can come up with 4.
DC might be when his age ended.
It's possible.
I mean, when did the Searly even conquer this area?
Well, the Mergale League controls North Ferron, but
No, but I mean, like, he called them barbarians to the north, and now they own most of the area over there.
Yeah, that's
When
what he
did
said.
the-
I mean, you can ask him that. You can say something about that.
Well, I mean, I was asking you, like,
the Searly calendar starts at it would be basically about 750 or so. It starts
Years
at the
ago?
founding of the Searly Kingdom. So the Searly Kingdom was founded 750 years ago, or thereabouts.
Well,
I'd have to find the exact
okay.
timeline, but
1,000 sounds at least accurate then.
and
At the
then
very
about
least.
400 or 500 years after that, about 300 years after that is when the Searly started trying to take over all the Diary Kingdoms. So. He yawns a little bit and says, I owe you something for your help. Give me 1 second. And he kind of goes over to some cupboards.
Crisp
and
high five.
He opens up the cupboard and kind of rummages in and pulls out a little box. And he opens the box and takes out. And as he kind of closes the box and turns around, you can see that he has a ruby in his hand. A ruby that's maybe the size of maybe a golf ball. I mean, golf ball is not a thing in this world, but
very cool.
And he goes over to Dresd'a and says, "Here, this is for you and your group."
Let's go.
And it's a ruby. I believe it is probably worth maybe 150 maybe 150 gold circles.
Gold circles.
You're not,
man.
Oh.
Material wealth.
Gold circle.
Hylough, are you keeping inventory?
No, not really, but I can.
Okay. I was just trying to figure out.
gold
Ruby
circle's
worth
still accurate
104.
No, gold marks are what you're used to.
So would we recognize when gold circles would have been used like over 1,000 years ago?
Hard for you to say.
Is anybody going to tell him it's probably been more than 1,000 years?
Not exactly a lot of coin collectors nowadays.
You guys
I
aren't
don't think.
exactly coin collectors.
I'm not sure which. Yeah, he seems nice enough, but I'm a little concerned with how he's gonna. Anyway, I don't know.
Well, so here's the thing, Emrys. There's an entire town out there now.
Really? Is it
and-
out? I mean, and he's like, well, I mean, I have been sort of able to somewhat see the lighthouse that they have built around. I mean, the building that they built next to it. He doesn't know about the lighthouse, but the building they built next to it.
Right.
But it's, I mean, they can. So do they build more around here? There's an entire village.
there's an entire lighthouse that they built on top of your tower and kind of around it.
That's
Because they didn't really know what they kind of really didn't know what to do with it, and it was there for a while, and you were
Very
stuck.
fair. Very fair.
But yeah, most of the landscape is pretty far from the tower, though, or most of the town is pretty
far from the tower. Is this not still on a promontory?
No,
You're surrounded by water.
we're surrounded by water.
And now, for the first time, he's like, sort of, you can see sort of a little bit of a light dawn on him that maybe it's been more than 80 years.
Yeah.
Wait, no. When I built the tower, it was on a cliffside on the sea that I could easily walk out across the way and
that's
continue
kind
my
of
way
what it
south
looked
onto
like
the island.
in the Shadowfell.
Yeah, it did a little bit look like that.
But it doesn't look like that now. Would you like to see?
Isn't it? In the morning. It's dark out. I'll have to reassess what's going on.
It
So
says
you're
it's
saying-
1:50 in the afternoon.
No, it's 1:50 in the morning. That is that's,
Man,
That's military time.
I see.
So you're telling me that this is now an island.
Yes, and kind of a small one at that.
So, I mean, it is clear from you guys when you were approaching during the day that at some point, yes, this island probably was connected to the rest of the island.
Yeah, there's
but waves and stuff have crashed into it, and it's the
eroded.
Yeah. If you were to look at, let me bring this up real quick. All of between here. Actually, that's not the right one I want. I want this one. All of you can see kind of all of this is heavily rocked and stuff like that. You wouldn't try to put a ship through there because there's just so much stuff, so much rock and shoals and things like that that are there, probably from this thing, slowly getting destroyed. And very clearly, it looks like this might have at one point been possibly connected. It takes a long time to erode away.
Yeah, a few
stuff like that.
100 years will do it,
or maybe longer,
or maybe a few thousand years.
Is anybody gonna tell him?
It may have been closer to like 1,000 years that you were in there. I'm not, and I'm not trying to pull your leg or anything. I don't know if that was even a term back then, but
okay.
This may be the truth.
You're telling me you do not know the Empire of Keshmar?
No, not at all.
You've never heard of it?
Not really any bit. There's a desert called Kesh that has ruins in it.
One moment. And he gestures again some more, and then you hear him say, "Sister, I'm being told that the Empire no longer exists. Is this true?" And he waits. And he waits. And he waits.
No, that's so sad.
He does it again, and he's like, I'm beginning to think maybe it's true. I would have expected you to survive, though, if the Empire fell. Please get back to me when you can. And then he...
Did you do leave a voicemail or something?
It's a sending spell. I can speak with people that I know.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's I think that's around here. Some people have that.
But she's not responding, and that only happens if she's not on the same plane or she's deceased. So one can only hope that she's not on the same plane. But you say probably more than 1,000 years. Well, I mean, it was connected at one point. And you two look suspiciously similar to the barbarians to the north.
I am from that area, yes.
But we're not barbaric anymore.
I'm a sorcerer, actually.
All right. He now does an insight check.
Trying to free my
well, this is a bit
my kingdom from its wizard oppressors, which the Sorcery are kind of they're not big fans of wizards or people with magic at all.
This is confusing, but not too unexpected. I would have assumed that only maybe a couple hundred years had passed, but 1,000 or more?
It is possible.
I'll have to. Well, it is possible.
I would just suggest
maybe you
taking
should
it
sleep
slowly.
on it.
If things, I mean, world has changed a lot, but as they mentioned, magic is. There are forces that hold magic as evil. Not us.
So is there a Kingdom of Kesh or any hobgoblin holdings?
There's not, right?
Not that you know of.
No.
As
not
far as
that
you
much.
guys
Actually,
know
he's the
of.
first person I've seen like
The
this. Right?
desert.
Yeah,
right?
you guys have never seen a hobgoblin before. That is correct.
You're the first hobgoblin I've ever met, and I've traveled fairly extensively. Sorry to say, you seem like a nice person. Like to meet more of you, but that is the way it's been so far.
This is. He kind of slumps down into the chair a bit more. He's like, "This is a lot to take in."
But if you came forward, is it possible to go back that you were experimenting on? You could go back to
Well,
the Shadowfell?
not that I know of. Well, there was rumors of a gnome, but that was 4,000 years even before me. Regardless,
Interesting.
I don't know of any way to go back. I'm not very well versed in the manipulation of time, and I'm not sure that would be a very smart idea, even if I could. Well, I need to get. We should all get some rest. At this point in time, you notice that Timo's been kind of standing there, like, just absolutely terrified out of his gourd, just trying to stay quiet and just staring at the guy. And,
he came too, huh?
yeah, he was with you guys. He just.
Do we have?
I gotta kind of go make sure the lights back on. Can you let me out?
This is the Lightkeeper, Timo. Introducing him.
It's good to
Your
meet
new
you, sir.
neighbor.
Here, and he kind of waves his hand and the door opens and you can see the portal reform on the outside, and you can see it going out into the darkness. Timo's like, much obliged, and he quickly moves out the door as quickly as he can. And then everything closes. I have a lot to think about. I can probably more specifically figure out what has transpired in the morning when I can do a little bit of research and maybe contact a few more longer-lived allies that I know of. You're welcome to stay here. Unfortunately, this is all the hospitality I have. I'm not sure what the upstairs chambers would be like. Probably just as dusty. But you're welcome to stay here if you wish. For the evening.
I have one last question. What can you teach me in the next day or so?
I don't understand the question.
I am a sorcerer, and I'm a sorcerer in training, really. That's the thing.
Sorcerer, you just mean you hit magic from books?
I magic from within myself.
Oh, I mean, I can anything I teach you would take far more than one day for you to truly grasp what is going on. But I can try to give you some of the basics of things.
Excellent.
At least give you a quick course, a one-day course, so to speak.
I'm always
not
down.
sure how much that would help, but you.
Well, perhaps we should let you rest first, though.
Yes, I need some time to.
So, do we want? Is there space for us to stay here? Looking on the floor, is it?
Yeah, I mean, he kind of got rid of most of the dust. It's not it's a stone floor with some somewhat dilapidated rugs. They probably look like they were much nicer, potentially 1,000 years ago. But he's like, yes, thank you for your food. Thank you for freeing me from my self-imposed trap. Or exile, if you will.
Glad I could.
We will speak
do
more
nothing here. You're welcome.
in the morning.
Oh, thank you.
And he heads up the stairs slowly. Seems lost in thought as he does so. What are you guys doing?
Well, do we have a way out now? I don't think he left the door.
No, he didn't leave the door open.
There?
I mean, if you wish to leave, he probably could,
Yeah, we could
open
ask.
the door for you.
So do we owe True or anyone? Do we tell them we'd definitely be back? We didn't really say.
Well, I mean, so tonight is, or at the end of today was when the guard was supposed to return with the rest of your bounty.
Right.
Which that would have happened a long time ago because you're now midnight, basically, or past midnight. But you were here on the lighthouse, so you'll just probably pick that up in the morning. Other than that, you had said you were going to go. You had actually told them you were going to go try to see if you could see the ghost at the lighthouse. So,
yeah, so
the assumption would be that they would probably think you were going to stay overnight.
Yeah, so I don't think it'll be a problem if we stay here.
Yeah. Is there a downstairs?
Not that you can see.
No stairs going down.
There's only stairs going up here.
Okay.
So how do we think the village or the town will react to finding out they've got a archmage in the lighthouse? Like, is it as anti-magic as the rest of the world? Does it seem laid back? Is it? I mean, I haven't seen a lot of that, but I know you had that religion.
I don't know. You're not sure. I mean, this guy is truly unique at this point.
Okay, how? Tell me your insight to see how well I think open-minded these people are, or are they going to go the pitchfork and
go for it.
Torch method, which isn't going to be good for us. Good thing I have such a wonderful insight. Yep, there we go. That's a second 3.
You feel like Timo was afraid of the guy, but maybe because of everything that was been going on this evening.
Yeah, he was out of his element.
Yeah. You're not, I mean, nothing. I would say you're still uncertain about Emrys himself. And that's probably the bigger issue more than the people of Tyrok's Landing. Because what are they going to do against a guy who basically got himself stuck in a Shadowfell as a spirit?
Yeah, true. And his lighthouse has pretty much been impenetrable anyway.
Yes, they've never been able to get in. They've dug down before around it, and there's just no way. They've never been able to get into it. So, I mean, worst case scenario, he can always just lock himself back up in here and not worry about that.
I don't do tours.
They can do anything to him. I'm worried about him getting pissed off and doing a lot to them.
And that's what I'm saying. He's probably the bigger issue. You don't know.
So maybe we can explain that to him. I'll try to. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's answer my question. I'm going to need to rest.
All right. You guys settle in and sleep
We
for the
going to
rest
do
of the night.
the guard thing?
If you want to. You
I'll
don't
take
have to.
first watch, I guess. Yeah, I know, but a wizard with we may or may not know his true purpose. I think I'd rather.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, through the course of the night, the fire kind of burns down a little lower, and but nothing happens. No one, you don't see anything. Nothing. You don't hear anything. If he's trying to do some magic or something above, you don't hear anything.
Right.
It's very possible he is just sleeping. That's the first sleep he's had in 1,000 years, maybe longer, maybe shorter. Morning comes. You guys can do a long rest if you wish, which means your exhaustion is gone, Dresd'a.
Yay! Long.
Who's ready to see the town?
Well, you're gonna have this guy teach you anything, or
Yeah, but I
let's
wanted to
discuss
see
with
the
him.
town first.
Emrys eventually shows back up downstairs, and he looks.
So how do I
Better.
rebind? Is it before or after I do the long rest?
After you do the long rest, you can rebind.
Okay, I want to rebind, and I'm going to double check real quick.
Okay. Yeah, you can bind. I mean, we're not going to go through the ritual because you've already done it.
Okay.
So there's no binding thing with these guys anymore. It's just you do it. I just like to do a binding ritual, kind of go over it when you do the first time, so you get the flavor of what it's like. That being said, there's no real place to do it here in the tower outside of somebody that people won't be able to see it.
I don't need to keep it secret
Yeah, I'm just
anymore.
telling you, it's an open floor plan down here, so you can find a spot and do it, and that's what you do. And you guys watch as Dresd'a kind of makes a little circle, speaks some words. A mist kind of forms in the circle
Dresd'a,
that
you praying
sort
to
of
the gods?
shows sort of an outline of which one are you doing?
Dresd'a? Dresd'a?
Who you again?
Archer.
What are you doing?
And then she seems to she seems to say words in a strange language, and something inside of there seems to respond to her. And then you see a partially transparent figure, man, with sort of a bird-like mask kind of fade into Dresd'a. And then she gets the bird-like mask on her face again.
I thought that was just a fancy makeup job. That's
And my
cool.
arrows reappear.
And your arrows reappear.
So this is normal.
Yep. Everything's fine.
But you didn't. So do you know who you are now? I mean, is each
Same
because
person.
you didn't
I
have any
always
memory.
am.
You didn't have any memory, right? When we first met you. Do you know more now?
Yeah, I know who I am. I've always known who I am.
Okay, John's asking. Didn't she not? She didn't tell us much, and she acted like she didn't know.
Oh,
Am
I
I
mean,
confusing
she
you?
never told you she was amnesiac, no.
Okay. Okay, then never mind. Then that's not a.
And
She just didn't reveal a lot.
yeah,
Okay.
she just didn't reveal very much.
Okay, good to know. Interesting.
You get done with the ritual and you see Emrys kind of staring at you or watching what you've just completed, Dresd'a, and he goes, this explains much. Explains why it worked. And why the old man failed. Where have you learned such abilities, Dresd'a?
Well, some of it was just happenstance, and some of it I studied with the brothers.
There is a group that can teach these things?
They have some knowledge, yes. Talk about the
you and
Church
I
of the
may-
Ascetics.
Yeah, you and I may need to discuss that at some point. Just intriguing knowledge. I can see that you have a touch of the infernal in you.
Yes.
Nothing wrong with that, if you were wondering.
Yeah, I definitely raised both eyebrows on that one.
It's been a while since I've seen that strain in the world. I wonder what has caused that. And at that point, Dresd'a, you get the feeling that he doesn't know anything about the Sifnos Rift, where you grew up near.
Oh, okay.
Remember, the rift is. I'll show it to you again. Let me. So you grew up in the Solari Isles, but the Sifnos Rift is here,
Right.
and it is known. It is believed that demons live there.
That explains it.
Mm-hmm. So yes, he says, interesting. The world has changed. I will have to take my time and understand this new world order that I find myself in.
Yeah, I definitely agree. More people are not always as accepting of new things. So
I have spoken with a friend, an ally, servant. It's hard to say what he actually is to me. It turns out that I have been trapped for the better part of 1,500 years. So I believe, while I found your tales last night a bit more unbelievable, and not these days, this morning I am more more in the know, so to speak. Given that, I'm probably going to stay in my tower and scry and this sort of thing for a bit so that I understand the lay of the land. That might mean that I might need some people to run, maybe not run errands, but at least guide me and maybe find things for me as time arises. Would you guys be willing to think about taking something on like that?
We have other plans, but we could help as much as we can.
I mean, we definitely we would like to help you, and if it's mutually beneficial, of course,
What
we'd
do
be
you
foolish not to take it under advisement.
Well, I guess the first question I would ask is, clearly Kashmar is gone, and I'm not sure why, or I'm not sure how. Like I said, it could be partially due to the droughts we were having, maybe the Surly barbarians. No offense to you. I don't know how people will react to me. And I bear no ill will towards anyone. Why would I? I mean, I've been stuck for 1,500 years, it turns out. And well, it's a bit hard for me to grasp and handle. I will eventually get over it. In the end, all I want to do is research anyway. So I don't really feel a need to leave here if that is going to cause problems with the status quo. In fact, it may be better, maybe best, if the ghost continues to be a legend around here and the tower stays the way it has been, a lighthouse.
I think you should get out and enjoy.
Oh, I
your
can
life.
leave the tower without actually leaving the tower.
Okay, well, yeah. You should experience the world as it changed, though.
So how do we, if we want to come, if we leave and we want to come back and visit, do we just knock on the door that's not there, or what are we? How do we? Is there a doorbell? What do you got?
He's like, well, I mean, your friend here can always see the door if she wishes. Just it will have to be at night. She has the sight, you see. She can see certain spirits and certain weaknesses in the veil. Veil between planes, veil between realms, worlds. It's hard to say exactly.
I chalk it up to a near-death experience that I became sensitive to it.
So, I mean, sure, you could potentially knock on the door. However, that's cumbersome.
There's some type of device that we could speak with you on, or do we get great distances?
He heads over to what looks like a desk, and he rummages in a drawer, pulls out what looks to be some parchment. He sets it down on there, and then he gestures and does a few words and things like that, and then he in essence with his finger kind of makes some sigils on each page of about maybe a dozen of them, and then he hands them to you, Dresd'a, and he says, write upon these. The writing will appear to me, and I will be able to write back.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
Are there a limited number of uses?
Well, and when you filled up all 12 pages,
okay,
they are no longer available.
Right.
But hopefully before then we will have replenished it.
Does it work like, can you write to us, like if you have a really good job for us or something?
Yes, I can. It's a two-way communication.
Okay. I didn't know if I had to initiate it or if you could initiate it.
No. This particular, because I've done this so quickly, this will only last for about a month. The magic on these, so no need to write small, as your friend was saying. You'll have about a month's worth of time, and hopefully by then I will have something more permanent.
Okay.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out. We have some good people in the town that if they need to come and bring you supplies, we're trying to figure out how. I'm trying to figure out how they would be able to communicate with you to let you know they're coming or whatever you happen to need.
He's like, I prefer to keep my return to ourselves for now. I'm no offense to the people in the town. It's just I'm worried that my presence will be unwanted.
I can understand that, but the lighthouse keeper knows, and I don't know how much he's going to tell.
There is that. There is that.
He seems like a good guy. We could tell him to keep it to themselves, but we don't know.
Well, we will see what we will see. We will see what we will see.
All right, so what can we bring you?
For now, I believe I have everything I need. Now that I have rested and at least all of my magical supplies are still functional, I will be able to actually what I really probably need to start with is a more current map of Nyarvine. That is probably what I really need the most of, because all of the places that I would know to transport myself to in the past probably are not going to be the same as what I remember. Beyond that, initially just some food and water, because like I said, if I were to try to go somewhere where I know I would get food and water, it could be completely something different.
Yes. Okay, so food and water, we can manage that, and a map.
Yes, a more up-to-date map would be great.
Sure.
At least be a place to start. I mean, I can scry the places that I've known before, but and try to get a better idea there, but at least having an idea of what I'm looking at. It's hard to tell that through just a visual without audio and things of this nature. So when you have a moment, I'm good for
Sure.
that.
Excellent.
Until we meet again, and he gestures and the door opens.
We
All right.
waltz out.
Good luck.
All right.
Hey,
Good luck on your
You're
journey.
handling this very well.
Very nice meeting you.
Trust me, I've seen Stranger.
That is truly scary.
Usually it
But
hasn't
a
been
tale for another
1,500
time.
years of Stranger, but I've seen Stranger. Good day.
Good day.
And the door closes behind you guys. And the tower just looks like the tower was before here in the morning. And he's right, Dresd'a. You cannot see the door once it closes anymore.
is it daytime?
Yep.
Okay.
What do you guys want to do now?
Oh, that was interesting.
That was interesting.
I think maybe we should go collect our money and our ship. Wait,
yeah, that's good.
is the
Yes.
ship done? Or is
Ship
that
should be
tomorrow?
done at some point today. Yes.
Okay.
We go figure out how much this ruby
Did-
might be
did
really
we
Yeah, I was
worth.
gonna say, does it have any magical ability things on that
Do you want
ruby?
to check it?
I do, but I don't think I have. I've got to identify it, not.
I mean, you can try to
Okay.
identify it if it's.
I'll try to
not-
identify it. Yeah,
Yeah, you try to identify it.
I'll
seems
do
to
it
be,
as a 10-minute ritual.
It seems to be a ruby.
Okay.
So, there doesn't seem to be anything magical about it.
Just checking. Oh, this is like a ruby.
So have we already paid the full amount for our repairs, or
No.
do we still owe some?
You still owe money from that. You have
Okay,
the money
can we-
nowadays because
Yeah,
you got the extra
Can we
money
use-
from a few places, but
yeah. Can we use the ruby instead of gold?
it's up to
Well, we
you.
don't know how much it's worth, so let's-
Yeah, you're not sure how much it
100.
worth currently.
we could be negotiating from a. We could.
I mean,
Let
you
them
guys
have
could
it
try
for
to appraise it
less.
yourselves. So it's not like you have to kick it to somebody. You can always try to do appraisal, which is just an intelligence check.
Oh, I'd like to appraise it then.
I mean, you could try.
Yeah, no, I mean, and to an untrained eye, it's just an intelligence check.
Yep.
Can I try and appraise
Who's
it too?
intelligent around here?
Not me.
I mean, if you
can
are proficient in jeweler's tools and you have them, then you can add your proficiency to it. But
I do not. Does anyone else? I could help someone and give you advice. Hey, look at that! Look at that! Is it a one roll thing, or is this anyone can roll it?
no, anybody can roll it. This is not a one roll thing. This is not like Like, this is something you personally would figure this is what you think it's worth.
Okay.
Can I roll
Aaron,
just
you think it's
intelligence?
worth maybe 500 gold.
Are we even sure it's all ruby?
Marcus, you think that maybe it's worth 200 gold marks?
Okay.
I
Rhux,
can't roll.
you think it's worth maybe 250 gold marks? Hylough, you're also thinking it's probably around 250 gold marks.
And Dresd'a thinks it's
Praedyth,
$1 million.
Praedyth, you think it's probably worth the 150 gold marks, like you said, and Dresd'a, you think it's probably worth 125 to
bucks.
175, somewhere in there.
$1 million.
The one is the guy got the.
They're really bad. Off.
It's mine, but it's late.
Yeah, you
know
also think it's probably
exactly.
worth 250 gold marks. So you
Yeah,
think
that's probably.
I think the 250 wins out with a vote here. I think we should hold
Well,
on.
it seems like
that
the
much.
majority of us got that, so, but that doesn't really mean anything. But hey, we can get a ballpark and then get estimated at somewhere else if we wanted to. Look further.
Mhm.
So yeah, let's take the boat and
All right, so you
wish
guys take
our-
the boat and head back to.
Let's let the lighthouse guy let him know that
Okay, so you
everything
went.
went well, no problems.
Team was like, what is that? What was that guy? I've never seen a man that looks like that. I thought
I
he was an
think
orc at first, but no, something's
just
wrong.
It's just the spirit that inhabits the lighthouse. I'm sure it won't bother you again.
And you need to kind of keep it to yourself. Probably would be best.
Well, I mean, no one will believe him anyway, so.
Keep what to myself the fact that there's a strange monster that lives in the tower.
He's not a monster. He was a good ghost.
I mean, he didn't attack us, so there is that. But I'm still not sure if what I saw last night. Well, we'll see.
I mean, so was he drinking when we left last
Yes,
night?
he was.
So, I mean, we all had a little bit to drink. And, our tales went well. And, you have excellent tales. And I may have added some more to have you embellish. And it was a dark night. And so, I mean, we saw something, but it was, I couldn't tell you what it was or wasn't. So maybe we should just let it go and hopefully it won't come up again. Can I do persuasion on that?
Sure. Like, well, I mean, we did drink a lot, but I didn't think it was that much. And I could have swore we saw an actual thing last night that was near your friend there. And he points at Dresd'a. But
Well, I mean, she's right here now.
But who knows? Maybe it was
could ask
just.
her.
Maybe it was just. I don't know. Maybe it was just fever or dream or something like that. I don't know. Well, it was good to see you guys, though.
Oh yeah, thank you. It's impressive. This is, I mean, if I were to do when I tell a tale of the evil realms and things that could happen and the border universes, this is an excellent place. It would make anyone's mind, if you're imaginative, think what could happen.
Sure.
Thanks again.
Sure.
Yeah, nobody else helped me with that. Nobody gave me advantage.
No. I mean, it's fine. He's like, sure.
No, I know.
He's not exactly a bright man
here.
So,
How about helping for an advantage?
all right. So it takes you guys about 30 minutes or so to get the boat back over to Old Man Gadner. And then about another 20 minutes to get back into town. As you kind of come into town, you can see that the town now has a whole bunch of these flowers in a wide variety of places. On the window sills, you can see that there's a pole up where the market was as you're kind of walking through. Actually, let me bring up T-Rex Landing. So, I mean, as you kind of coming through as you come across this way back into town, you can, and remember the inn is up here. You can see that there's a pole up here with some flowers and things, and the stalls have been pretty much put away. There's a few kids and people there. They're clearly getting most of it ready for the festival of Festival of Flowers here in a couple of days. You head up and get up to the inn, and you see that Blimby is sitting outside and trying to withdraw. And they look up as you come up. And he's like, and Blimby's like, "Oh my God, there's you are! We've been looking for you all morning." The guard, he didn't show up last night. His horse did. We've been trying to find him.
Oh, so our money's gone?
There's no guard here, so something happened.
Uh-oh.
Should we go check our hotel?
Lebevic thinks it's something Elazar did, so she's been hounding him this morning, but I don't know what's going on there. So we might want to wait for that, but I mean, he had to come from the south, so we should probably try to see if we can find him.
Okay.
All right,
Let's go.
let's do this.
Blimby's like, all right, well, if he took the main coast road, then we should start heading south and see if we can find him anywhere. Seem reasonable?
Yes.
It does.
Should
Can
we check
ask
in with the ship people?
Why
He'll
would we
hold
check
it.
in with the ship people? They aren't going to know where the guard is.
Well, no. I mean, aren't we supposed to pick up our ship today? Like, should we let them know?
Pick it
We're
up.
just-
Coming by to pick up
You
our
gotta
laundry.
pick it up. It's in.
yeah,
Dry cleaning.
it's in the shop. You know.
I think
Anyway,
he'll hold it
okay.
there.
All right.
You're having
Fine.
this discussion, and from Blimby, you see Blimby look past you, and he's like, "Oh, Captain Lebevic, have you heard anything from Elazar? What did he have to say for himself?" She's like, "He claims he doesn't know anything about it, which is probably the typical thing. I'm also having troubles finding Liam this morning. I don't know where the hell he is, and it's not helpful that my lieutenant is missing. I see you finally found your friends. I'm sorry I don't have your money. It seems that our guard we sent is missing. His horse showed up last night. The horses are all taught to, return to the garrison if the rider is lost. So we can only assume that either he fell off and bumped his head and is still unconscious, or something worse has happened. Since Elazar seems to think that he has nothing to do with it, I have to believe him, since I have no evidence against him otherwise. We gotta start searching for him. Now that it's light, we can see if we can find him.
Which way would he have gone? Is it just the road, or is there some certain path that
He would have taken.
that we could check?
He would have taken the coast road. So this is the coast road. So the coast road heads south and along, and eventually leads all the way to Mirabel. So it falls along here, and eventually you make it all the way to Mirabel, which is just off this map down here.
So when I talked to the lieutenant, did he mention he had money problems? He just mentioned he was stuck here.
He mentioned he was stuck here, but the lieutenant didn't go.
But the lieutenant's missing, though.
Lieutenant currently is missing, according to.
Right, so he may have cut a deal, perhaps. But does anyone? Do you think they're? I'll ask the captain. Do you think they're related at all? I mean, is he in trouble?
I don't
Lieutenant?
know. He's. I haven't had any problems with him, so I can't say that he's in trouble. But it's a little odd that he's not shown up this morning. I don't know what's going on there, but maybe he's just sleeping in. I'll send one of the other guys over. He normally shacks up with a lady friend. We'll see if he's there. I haven't sent anybody for that yet, though.
All right, well, let's.
I'll do
Is
that.
it on the?
You guys take Blimby here, and I'll send you a couple. I'll send you a couple other guys. Here, I got names for them. I'll send you Tristram and Padar and see if he'll help. See if we can find him.
Okay.
All right.
And
You
let's
guys
head
head
out.
up to the garrison.
And before
Yeah, she gets those two guys. But what were you going to say?
I'll say before they, the two guards get this and out of shot of all the other guards, if possible.
There's
there a
only
place I can
Lebevic
take?
here, so.
Okay. So do you think this is Blimby? Are you ready to take back over? Do you think?
Take over what?
I mean, I think that it's your replacement is probably taking our money.
Maybe. It's possible. Or he's probably have something to do with it. But until we can find evidence that shows it's him, well, I mean, we don't have to find evidence if we don't want to, but Bevik wants to find evidence and do it by the book, so we should do that.
That would be more convenient, yes.
Oh.
Okay. But you don't know of any place that they tend to. Do you know of any place to be a good place to ambush?
I mean, there's a few places where the road gets close to the jungle, to the forest.
Okay. Maybe you could point those out and have some code that you could say, you know, I grew up here, some type of code to let us know that we can pay special attention if we don't want the guards to know.
Well, I mean, we're searching for one of their own, so I don't see any reason to not clue them in on it.
I didn't know if you wanted. Okay.
It's fine. You guys pick up Padar and Tristram and start heading south out of town. You guys are just all walking because the horse clearly didn't seem like you learn over the course of you walking south that the horse didn't seem lathered or anything like that, so it clearly didn't run from a long distance. So they think it's relatively, probably no more than a half day of walking to find whoever it is, wherever this guy was. So you guys head south out of town.
Okay.
And start following the coast road. So this is the coast road is here. Why don't you guys give me a perception check? You can help each other and just have one roll with advantage, or you can do it individually. But choose that before you make the roll if you want to. Just help each other, and then we'll just have one person roll. It's fine.
Okay, I've got a +3 perception. What does everyone else have?
I only have
also has a +3.
Well, I don't roll well, so far.
Maybe we should roll individually.
I don't. Is that still an option?
What?
To roll
we just decide whether we're going to
choose. You need to choose before you roll. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I guess.
If you guys all want to roll, you can all roll. That's fine.
Yeah, let's all roll.
But you only get a regular roll. If you want to just go with the help, then it's just
the multiple rolls is better than even advantage. So
yeah,
maybe
not so far.
I was gonna say.
Come on, guys, let's go.
We got a 19 in there.
Marcus might see something.
So over the course of that first half an hour or so, you guys kind of are looking around, and Padar seems to be the more senior of the two guys, and he's like, "We should be looking for some horse tracks, and if we can find them, then hopefully we can match them up to our hooves, or sorry, not hooves.
Horseshoes.
The horseshoes. Thank you.
Yeah.
There'll be a particular insignia on there. It's
imagine engraving your horses.
Well, no, it's just in the horseshoe. Like the horseshoe has a particular design in it.
You just said hooves first.
Yeah, I meant horseshoe though.
Yes, I know.
Marcus, about halfway through, you do find that. After about half an hour,
okay,
you do find
that out.
Some shoes that look like it's like, all right, so at least now we've got them. Excuse me.
Train tracks.
Let's see if we can track this back to where it goes. So at this point in time, somebody needs to give me a tracking or survival check so that they can we can track this back to you trying to track the horse.
That's an everyone roll, apparently.
Yeah,
it is now.
Well, I have survival, so
I also have survival.
It's really funny that the sorcerer is the one that's Iylis, you're like immediately like, yep, there it is, and you start marching off in a direction. You follow the horse. The horse kind of meanders a little bit through here, but after a little bit, you notice that it seems to be coming from a series of trees that are not too far off the road, and you guys head towards that direction. Reaching there, you guys notice that there seems to be somebody sitting behind a tree. As you approach, as Padar kind of quickens his pace and moves up there, and he's like, he gets close and he's like, ah, damn,
I'm gonna look around the area.
Somebody got Cadwy. And
Don't disturb anything. Let's see.
so as you guys
Cadwy
come up, you
died.
can see that basically this guard, who's I don't know, maybe early 20s, has been sat up against the tree. So he's like, it looks like he's leaning back against the tree, like he's just sitting there, maybe taking a nap or something.
Right.
And it's pretty clear that you can see that there is a redness down his front. It's almost as if, but what you can see is that it's coming like something went through the back of his neck and out the front side, and he bled out. That's pretty obvious just from looking at it.
Like a crossbow bolt, maybe, or a bow bolt.
It doesn't quite look right. You'd have to give me a medicine check for that one, or an investigation roll for that
Yeah,
one.
I'll let the doctor determine that. And I'm going to look
Rhux
for the
will do
blood
that.
trail or someone with tracking. Maybe I'll help them do a survival roll. I don't have it.
I will medicine.
All right, medicine first, then we'll do this for
Will someone accompany me on my medicine?
No, there's no one else. Has it.
Whichever I will accompany whichever person needs help. But I
Does no
probably
one else
only
have
do
medicine
one.
except me? Hang.
I don't think so.
I'll help medicine.
Well, you need to have medicine to help him.
Oh, okay. Does anyone else have medicine?
So, Rhux, it's pretty clear that a puncture wound, something went through the back of his neck and out the front side, but not fully out. It doesn't look, the wound on the back is not round like a crossbow bolt or an arrow. Looks more like a blade went through it.
Does it look like it was? Does his face have surprise on it?
Well, his face looks
like?
like he's trying to sleep, so.
Okay. Well, I mean,
Somebody
can we
set
tell
him.
if it was...
It's very clear that somebody set him up this way. I mean, there's
Right.
no way he did this himself.
No, I get
So
that part. I just didn't know if he
You said
died.
it looks jagged?
I said it doesn't look like a crossbow bolt or an arrow. It looks more like a blade of some sort went through it.
Okay. What was the you said it goes through like his back and through
Goes
his
through the
front,
back of his neck and out the front.
and that's
You
the
can see a
direction it
hole.
goes.
Yes, the hole is bigger in the back than it is in the front. It's not really a hole; it's more of a slice.
Is his weapon in his scabbard? I mean, does it look like any type
His
of...
weapon is missing.
Okay.
As is. I mean, if you start to look through his pockets and things like that, any satchel he might have had. You hear from Padar as you're kind of looking through. And he's like, "Yeah, the horse didn't have any saddlebags or anything." And he's kind of looking through as well. And he's like, "Nothing here. Somebody wiped him clean."
Are there any signs of a fight? Like he fought back?
Doesn't look
or-
like it.
That was going to be my
Okay.
next question.
Doesn't
Can I
look
like
it, but
look
you can
around the
give me an
area?
investigation check.
Rhux will assist on investigation. But
You can do.
would
Oh,
assist
no, you
someone
can
with
do
a-
it. I'll help you.
No, I have +2. Someone probably has better
I
than
have
that.
plus nothing. So whoever else
Someone
wants
else
to
has
roll.
to
I
have
also
better
have
than that.
investigation. I have +4.
What do you think about this?
Yeah. I'm gonna
I'll
help
point
that
it
guy.
out. Yeah, I'm giving something. What do you think about this?
We help the sorcerer.
Well, that gives you advantage.
You don't see
I need
any.
another.
Yeah, you do have advantage.
Yeah. hold on. Do it again.
Do better. Man, better.
Much better. You don't see any defensive wounds or anything like that, as if he was attacking or doing anything to defend himself. You definitely, with that, see definitely somebody staged him like this. There's clearly some drag marks from where they probably drug him to here. So this wasn't done right here. The place where you find he was dragged from, there is a little bit of blood on the ground, probably because that's where he was bleeding out when he fell off the horse, because it's probably pretty clear he fell off the horse. You can see there are some boots and some bare feet prints around that spot where he seemed to have fallen, but you kind of lose them because of the dragging feet as it goes towards where the tree was. You're not sure how many people it was.
Bare
did this.
feet, as in humanoid?
No, bare feet, like human feet.
Okay.
They're about that size.
What is there? Are his boots on? You say
Yes, his boots
are
are on.
Is there a race or any type of wild people that normally go without boots?
No, I mean, sure, there probably is, but
Yeah,
Patter's
I
like,
know.
I don't know of anything around here like that. It sounds like, I don't know, a dock worker, a sailor.
Nah.
So can we try to figure out where he was actually killed? Like where?
No, you
where
found
he
the
was?
spot. Like I said, you found the
Oh,
drag
okay.
marks. You investigate, found the drag marks, and you find the spot where there was a
Okay.
pool of blood on the
Can we
ground.
see where they laid in wait type thing, or is
That's going to require a higher investigation check than
And I
that.
see where
Yeah.
the.
Well, now that we know that, can we
try to-
continue to investigate?
Yeah,
Maybe
you
another
can,
roll?
but yeah, it's going to
Well,
be
yeah.
difficult.
Can I try and find the tracks of the guy who?
Sure, with an investigation check.
Cool.
So yeah, can we give him advantage again?
Sure.
Where is it?
Hey, there you go.
There it is.
You can see that there probably was some people sitting, kind of waiting in some of the underbrush of the jungle, but that's about it. Like it looks like,
But
maybe
I
3 or
can't
4.
tell where they went
You're not sure where they
after
went.
they got the stuff.
No, because like I said, you lost them in the dragging of the boots. So the boots, by luck of the draw or pure happenstance, you're not sure, or just dumb luck. Them dragging the guy basically covered up some of their tracks with the furrows of his feet.
Looking around for anything that they may have dropped in the bushes or wherever. Anything?
Not that you can see.
Are the bushes?
Rhux wants to ask the guardsmen who are with us if there are people who typically do this sort, like, you know, if there's a specific group of brigands that typically do this sort of thing.
The only people that I know of that might do this are Elazar and his guys, but I mean, we don't really have. You see, it's not no calling card here. I mean, there might be some bandits on the road these days, but hasn't been any real bandits on the road in, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 years.
You've never seen somebody do this with a stab through the back of the neck?
No, not really. At least not that forcefully. I could try to do my foghorn leghorn and be, no, just kidding.
I mean, that might mean. Wish my medicine check was better.
I mean, somebody else can try a medicine check if they have medicine.
I do not.
Anybody else got medicine?
It wouldn't make sense for
only one
sorcerer to have medicine.
No,
well,
I think it does.
your background at it. I don't have medicine,
That's all right. I was just saying if somebody had it.
and I'm not high enough to get jack of all trades yet. So,
What are my features? Can I do something weird?
so we suspect that he didn't struggle. Are there any signs of rope or anything, or any type of bindings?
Like I said, there's no defensive wounds. There's no. You don't see any. Like the only mark on his body seems to be the wound through the back of his neck that comes out the front.
So I'm gonna ask the guards to see. Who do you know from Elzar? Who would he be friendly with? Does he know all of them?
Who?
Of Elzar's gang, because he didn't seem to struggle, so he knew them, and maybe someone snuck up behind him and did this because he had to be distracted somehow. If he was on a horse, it would have had to be from height, unless he was off the horse, I guess.
I mean, I
Stop for some
we know
reason.
most everybody in the town. I mean, Elzar's men, and the town is only about, I don't know, a few hundred people, so most people know everybody. So it's very possible he stopped and they chatted with him.
Does it look like he got off the horse?
Yes,
horse
it looks like
tracks?
he got off the horse by falling off the horse.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
So,
is there a tree or?
I was about to say, did the trees look like people jumped out of it? Because you said the underbrush looked like that had people in it.
It doesn't
But the
look like
trees
any
don't?
trees brushed out. No, it doesn't look like that.
Do we know if there's an exceptionally tall boy who lives in these parts?
Padar is like, I don't know of any exceptionally tall people. The only tallest guy I know of is the bouncer for the brewery, Rhux Brewery.
I've seen that guy probably. How tall was that guy?
He's like 6'7", 6'8". He's pretty tall.
But you don't think he'd be tall enough to literally just like jump out of the underbrush and full on stab a sword through the guy's neck when he's on top of a horse?
Probably not. What Padar says.
I wasn't asking him. I was more asking you. But Yes, that's fine. That's fine. Maybe it's not a sword then. Maybe it's something else.
It could be a spear. I mean, would it be equivalent to like someone stabbing a spear through the wound
had a
or some
10,
type of
right?
pole arm?
Yeah,
It was pretty bad.
it was a 10. It's you can't tell. He's not sure.
Yeah, I know.
But a bit of rope dart.
You say it didn't go through?
No, I said it
No,
went
it
through.
did.
Oh, okay. It went all the way through.
Yes.
Not as much in the front as the back, though. The top of the neck entrance wound is a lot thicker than the little bit of exit on the other side.
And like I
Look
said,
around,
it
is
definitely
there-
looks like a blade went through it. That's that much he was pretty sure of. A blade of some sort.
Could they have? Does it look like maybe they
Spears
could have
usually
set
don't
up
look
some
like a
sort
blade.
of?
Yeah, no.
We could have set up some sort of trap in the tree that they could trigger, so like a sword falls through the trees.
Looking
and then...
around, the tree doesn't look disturbed, but I mean, you should probably have to investigate it to really.
Rhux
Let's
will go look in
investigate
the
that.
tree.
Yeah, I'll investigate that as well.
Rhux will look in the tree.
I'm looking for any. Well, doesn't. I'll do that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the tree's been disturbed at all.
Rhux didn't find Jack.
So, I mean, you don't find any indication that someone was in the tree or that a trap was made in the tree or anything like that. No.
So I'm gonna go back down the road a little bit, see if another set of boot tramps meets up with him, like if someone was walking with him while he was on the horse. Like go further down the road and try to.
All right, so give me an investigation survival check, the other one, because you're gonna have to follow the hoof prints.
Guys, I'm really not good at this.
Investigation and survival are two different skills.
They are.
Rhux can do survival.
Well, if somebody else wants to do it, I will.
I'm better
assist,
at
because,
investigation
again,
than
I'm
survival.
Not the guy.
Marcus said that he was going to do this, so Marcus makes the
Sorry.
roll.
Okay. I can't suggest it to someone
Rhux-
else.
No, because
I
you
can-
literally
I
said
can
I
give
looked
you
down the
help.
road, so
Okay.
I can give you some.
Yeah, we give you some help.
don't try to min-max it, guys. If you want to do something, just do it. It doesn't always have to succeed.
Okay.
It's fine. You're able to follow it, not too far away. I mean, probably a good 50, 60, 70 feet, maybe 100 feet down the road. It just looks like the horse was moving at a walk based on what you think, and then he stopped as if maybe he saw something or knew something or saw someone. Not sure. It's hard to say exactly why he would have stopped, but there's nothing that seems to.
No one's walking with him.
No one's walking with him or anything like that you can tell.
Well, Rhux in the direction of the tracks that we can kind of see going away. Or wait, no, was that the thing we couldn't see which direction they left in?
Well, you can't. You're not sure which direction the people, whoever did this, left in. That's the correct one. But I mean, Marcus just found the horse tracks that lead up to this point. So
No,
you can
I
point those out.
was talking about looking for where they left from afterwards. But you said we can't see that.
You didn't. I mean, yeah, your investigation check around the body wasn't good enough for that. Well, your investigation check where he fell was great. That's why I gave you a bunch of information about that.
Nice.
Not sure why Hylough's rolling survival checks.
I'm just checking. I'm just doing the tracking, but I didn't do very well, so clearly I don't know what's going on.
Anything else you guys want to do? Otherwise, Padar and Tristram are basically trying to set up a way of taking the body back to town.
I guess the only other thing that Rhux might want to do is take a closer look at the wound, see if he can maybe glean more information about what kind of blade it was.
A
straight one? You already did your
Nice.
medicine check. You're not going to get any more from it.
What we know is that he was apparently on the horse when he was killed. He fell off, but there's no way that it could have been a blade unless there's somebody on the horse with him. Maybe he picked up a rider, or there's some sort of weapon that could shoot a blade.
It's also possible.
I guess to speak a bit out of character, because Rhux probably wouldn't think about this since his role is shit. But the other thing you could think about is maybe he was hit somewhere else, fell, and then was stabbed.
But didn't we have where we could see where he fell?
Yeah,
We can't.
there was blood, but we don't know that we don't know that he wasn't, coup de grace after he fell down.
But we did check the body. And you didn't see any other wounds, as far as we know, right?
As far as you can
As
tell.
far as we saw,
Didn't
but
see
it
any
doesn't mean
defensive wounds or.
Nope.
Doesn't mean there
Nothing to
couldn't have been some sort of
No, that's true.
small, like maybe, like a blow dart, something or other that knocks
Marcus,
him
give me
down.
an insight
But
check.
other than that,
Hylough, you can do it too.
You said insight?
Insight. Yep.
very insight.
I would say both of you might think of this. You know of a weapon that can launch a blade at somebody? It's called an arm.
An arm?
And a
You
hand.
just throw it.
So like through a knife, like a
Sure.
like a
Big
dagger.
knife.
But
Yeah.
also the blade was. It
It didn't
wasn't
go
bigger
through.
than a dagger. I just assumed it was like a sword.
I said a blade went through it. Daggers are blades.
And
I
it
guess
didn't
that
go all
is
the way
fair.
through.
He did. Like I said from the thing. It did look. It barely went through the other side.
Yeah.
Like the wound was very small on the front.
But big enough that you bleed out, basically.
So it could have been.
So do I know anyone great with a dash for soldiers? Who is the best with a dagger in town?
Patter's kind of doing stuff. It's like, there's a few guys that are good with knife work. I mean, got a lot of fishermen that can fillet things pretty well and stuff like that. I don't know if there's any. I don't know.
But
I
he would
haven't
be accurate enough to hit him a rider
let's
through the
see.
back of the throat.
Tristram's like, hey, Patter, do you remember who won the actual? Who won the knife throwing contest at the last festival? Like, Patter's like, wasn't it Jory's boy? Yeah, I think it was Jory's boy. What was his name? His name's wasn't it? It's Rhux. Rhux, that's his name. Oh yeah, Rhux. Jory's boy Rhux. He won the last one. He was pretty good with a knife.
What does Rhux do? What does he do?
I mean, he's a dock worker. He works. He helps carrying the catch, morning and evening catch.
Is he a good boy? Does he hang out with?
I don't know that he works with Elazar and his guys, but I can't say I know everybody who's working with him.
Right.
I mean,
Missions might
not
require
everybody
a
is
search.
willing to give reports and things like that on him, so it's hard to say.
We didn't find a knife or anything in the jungle, right?
Not that you've
Right.
seen so far, no.
Okay. Should I roll for that, or is that just my tree roll? I assume we cover that. But
You can try.
okay, I'll roll. Perception or investigation?
Investigation.
Hate that.
Searching around there, you don't find a knife of any sort, no.
I'll be right back.
So, knowing what I know about knife throwing, because I do know some stuff.
That's why I give you the intuition check, the insight check.
The optimal range, which would be usable for this, I want to go to that area to see if I can find footprints from there.
Well, that's approximately where the 3 or 4 people were. They were in the bushes.
Okay.
And there's that was what was already pointed out. There's people there, and people did come out of there to where he fell, and that's kind of where you guys lost them as they were pulling things to the
Do we
tree.
see where they went in? I mean, did they come in that same way, or is there any obvious tracks of them going and hiding there?
You can look for them.
Okay, I'll look for them.
Yep, that's just an investigation check.
Yeah. Guys, I'm crap at this. You guys got to do this. I'm shutting up now, but Okay. Something like that
You
for it.
look around and yeah, you do find some tracks that kind of lead in. Following the back, you see that they kind of head along the edge of the forest for maybe about an eighth of a mile or so before they then start to lead out to the road. And since you're following them backwards, it seems like they are headed to the road towards the northwest or northeast, whatever, towards town. It's the best way to put it. Eventually, though, if you continue to follow them, you eventually lose them though on the road. So it's hard to. I mean, there is enough traffic on the road, not to mention yourselves, that you eventually lose them.
Anything special about the boots, or is it still one guy with bare feet?
Looks like a guy. Maybe if you're not sure exactly how many men it was or women, how many people it was, but definitely boots and feet and bare feet. Yes.
Okay. Did anyone else say anything unusual about this? This is where they were.
I will. Was investigation
for what?
I don't know. What is everybody? What are we looking at? He did an investigation.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing out if there's anything weird about these footprints, because this is probably the people who did it. Boots and fur.
Yeah,
it's just normal boots, and it's odd that somebody would be out here in bare feet, but I mean, the road isn't terribly rocky or anything like that. And if you're used to walking around with bare feet all day.
Oh, do sailors normally walk around bare feet because they're rigging people, I assume? Is that normally the people who, or is it all sailors?
Depends. I mean, riggers tend to do it more than all sailors, yes. But, I mean, this could just be a dock worker as well.
Yeah.
Although.
Why would it be a dock worker? Just because they don't have the money for shoes? Or
possibly. I mean, yeah.
Got money now.
Yeah.
I don't know why I made a guy have no shoes on, man. I just wrote it. What do you want from me?
Well, I thought that's the hanging Chad, so to speak.
Reveal boot and bare feet tracks heading into the grasslands, which is what you found. And eventually back to the road.
And they're human.
I wrote that down. That's what I wrote. I don't remember why I wrote it down. This was like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay. Marcus is going to think about it.
Let's. I mean, I think we have a suspect, at least, with the accuracy of the knife throwing, and we would go poke around a little bit, or get the guard to poke around a little bit.
There's nothing else that spilled, right? No other coins or anything that spilled when he fell that they may have missed, rolled off?
Not that you found, no.
Yeah.
And where he fell is kind of open on the ground. Like, they drug him quite a ways to the tree that they put him next to.
Well, could have fallen out when they drug him too. I mean,
it's possible, but you haven't seen anything that.
Okay.
What was? Actually, I will say that yes, there was a single gold mark that Iylis found when he was searching around near the thing, near where the blood was. In fact, it was kind of in the blood a little bit. That's why it was probably missed. I forgot he got a 20.
DNA, get the DNA. Actually,
I don't know what the hell DNA is, man.
No, I know. I'm trying to think if there's a mage spell that would let's find a dead body because it's the guy's blood.
Yeah, it's the guy's blood who's dead, not.
Yeah, and it's our gold. All right.
But you can still maybe find the gold. You never know. All right, so what are you guys doing? The 2 other guards kind of get everything together. They make sort of a litter that they put the body on, and then they're like, "We're gonna head back, guys. Is there anything else you're gonna look for?"
I don't know what. Well,
I mean,
they might have. They could have. Well, what? They could have buried the loot. Come back later.
But it wasn't that much loot, was it? It was enough just for probably a bag. It's not like it's
150
that's
gold.
A good question. Is it?
Yeah, it was like 150.
Is it chest size or is it more of a bag size?
Oh, you would assume that whatever he was storing the money in would have probably been a saddlebag. It was only 150 gold, so.
Okay, so somebody was lying in wait. So somebody had to have known that he was coming back with the money.
That is also a possibility.
And the lieutenant hasn't shown up. So he can either be captured and beat due to the knowledge, or he can have it cut in on it. And I'm not saying this to the guards around, by the way. I'm going to let the guards doing this out of earshot.
All right, so they start to take the body towards back up towards the road, and you
I would
just
like to
you guys
incite
just
the guards.
you hang back a little bit is what you basically
Yeah.
do.
I would like to incite the guards that are with us, see if they seem to know anything other than this, or
All right, go ahead.
if they're horrified. Son of a bitch.
I mean, they are. Tristram seems a little put off by this. Padar, not as much. You also get the feeling, though, that all three of them maybe are local boys that have joined the garrison, which is why they happen to know so much about Jory and Rhux and all those guys. And you also get the feeling that Tristram maybe was a friend of the guy who's been, well, for lack of a better term, murdered.
Okay.
So what do you guys do?
Maybe we should
You wanna
go
continue to look around here, or do you want to? What do you want to?
Yeah, let's head back and look for disturbed earth for buried treasure or something like that, and then
At where the thing was, where the scene of the crime
we could start there and keep looking all the way back.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So that more investigation.
Yes.
I'll help you give advantage.
Looking around, you don't find any place around here where anything that looks like it might have been dug up and buried or anything like that. You do find, though, a what looks to be the remnants of some tobacco, like the remnants of a rolled cigarette or something like that. Back where it looks like they were probably waiting for the guy. Like they probably waited long enough that at least one of them was smoking.
Found something y'all did. Check out this.
You got a natural 20, so
I pull out I pull out my little plastic evidence bag.
Are there different types of tobacco that people use around here, or just tobacco?
It's probably always the same, but I mean, it's somebody who's a smoker.
Yeah.
I mean, sniffing at the tobacco, it smells. It doesn't smell very traditional, Hylough.
This is definitely Brandybrook tobacco.
It's not that. You're not. It's not a. You don't smoke. Maybe you do, Hylough. Do you smoke?
That's a great question.
I shouldn't.
Does Hylough
speak
smoke?
For Hylough? So, does Hylough smoke?
No, I'm sorry. No, I don't smoke.
Okay, so it's not. I mean, it's you've smelled smoke, pipe smoke and tobacco smoke and stuff like that in various taverns and stuff like that. The smell when you kind of sniff it real quick before you put it in your evidence bag, i.e. you throw it back on the ground, is not exactly the same as what you remember from like the smoke in the Downpour or Tyrox or anything like that. It's a little different.
Can I smell it? Because
Sure.
I've been in a lot of places, and I do smoke occasionally because it can be a bard and those type of things. So if it's probably not from here, maybe from a more exotic place, I might recognize it. What do I need to roll? Is there a roll, or is it just a?
It is a roll. It's probably going to be an intelligence check, just because it's like, do you remember this?
I need some charisma, some charismatic.
Well, if the ghost had tried to get inside of you, you would have been able to use your charisma.
That's good. Roll dice will make up for it.
So you you're pretty sure that this is the drug they call Dream Flake. You know that it is a leaf of some sort. It's banned in Kaer Morgale, but you've seen Sarah have some of it come through before.
It's weed.
It's not really weed. Dreamflake is a powerful hallucinogen that
It's LSD.
is pretty addictive, and it is known for people that get too far along in it. They will literally, without even thinking about it, rip their own eyes out because they will see such vivid hallucinations. It is a very strong narcotic.
Okay. I'll point that out to the guards. Look at this. Is this
somebody's smoking?
Right, but this isn't normal tobacco.
Padar sniffs and he's like, I don't know. I mean, is it Dreamflake? I've never smelled it before.
I'll insight that. See if anybody knows.
He seems on the up and up. He
okay,
doesn't.
I mean, there's no drug issue here.
Yeah,
in town,
he doesn't think that. Like, I don't know of too many drugs in town. Most of the stuff comes through Yvonne, but maybe there's something else going on that we haven't caught wind of yet. I mean, Dreamflake does have an actual medicinal use. It is intended sometimes to use as a pain reliever and stuff like that, but it's specific dosages. I mean, most really good illicit drugs also have some kind of medicinal use. That's the reason why they found them in the first place. But
so is there a doctor in the? I guess there probably is a doctor
you know
in the
that
town.
Yvonne was our herbalist helping out Old Man Gadner, so maybe she might know of somebody that's using it or something like that.
Or it could be a sailor or someone on the dock that would. So you say it's a pretty recognizable. Do they have physical? You said they would tear their own eyes out, but is there other physical?
Well, I mean, as they get far enough along, like they have to get pretty addicted to it too before it gets that far, and they would have to take a pretty big
thin or anything, or any teeth falling out, anything like that.
Dreamflake would be the equivalent. Yeah, I mean, they would start to become more gaunt. They would probably not be. They would usually people on Dreamflake forget to eat. They're high, so they forget about it.
They're in their dream.
Yeah, they're in their dream. That's the reason why it's called Dreamflake.
Okay. Well, that's a hell of a good roll. Good job. That gives us something.
Yeah. Do it. Okay, let's head on back.
So you guys start heading back to Tyrix Landing. It takes, let's see here, it took you an hour to get out here. You spend about 15 minutes doing this. Takes you an hour to get back. So you get back into Tyrix Landing, and it's getting closer to noon, to midday. Where do you guys head?
I want to talk to the doctor first.
Actually, let's see if the lieutenant has found out where the lieutenant is. Can we ask him? I mean, we're taking the body there anyway.
Yeah, you guys are heading to the garrison with the body. They're heading to the garrison with the body. You don't have to, but if you wish to, you head up there. You head into the garrison, and Lebevic comes out of the guardhouse as she sees the men coming in. She's like, oh, dang it! I'm sorry, Tristram. I know he's your good friend. Crap.
Looks like he was ambushed.
Yeah. I'm not sure what I'm going to tell his mother. Crap.
He was ambushed?
No, that he died, Iylis. She doesn't know your name. That he died.
Well, I mean, it does seem that way. I mean...
So, interrupting that conversation before he really pisses her off. So I'll kind of break down what we found, that, and that it was someone, maybe dock worker, someone we found someone with boots and someone without shoes, and someone who spoke Dreamflake, which
Dreamflake.
Over time.
I don't know of any.
But it was with a dagger.
Don't know of any drug problems in town, but I mean, you can speak with Yvonne. She might know if she's been dispensing it. For some reason.
But whoever it was is an excellent throw with a dagger. Does that bring anybody to mind that would?
Not off the top of my head, but I mean, there was a few decent young men at the last festival, the knife toss.
Okay. But no one like who's in the local.
I mean, they could be.
But no one.
We
Comes
don't know
along.
everybody who gets along with Elazar. Elazar tries to. How's the word I'm putting? He tries to get you in by offering you jobs, and then some of the jobs are relatively straightforward, like help him out with some dock work, or do an errand for him by going and getting something from somebody, and then that errand turns into go to such and such place, and hey, they owe me some money, make sure you get the money from them, kind of things. That's how he works and how he gets people into his gang. So it's very possible that a kid who is down on his luck, or maybe his parents' farm isn't doing so well, or something like that, could easily fall into something like this somewhat quickly.
But he doesn't have an enforcer per se that you know of. It's not
a knife thrower, but I mean,
who is this enforcer?
Elazar tries to keep himself, aloof of the different people, but he does have a guy who, at least a few people have told me, has been, doing the strong arm and things like that. His name is Ageldo. But I mean, like I said, he's not known for knife throwing that I know of. Maybe it's a skill he's been keeping to himself.
Just out of curiosity, what does he look like?
She describes a middle size, about a 5'7" 5'7" person, dark hair, relatively nondescript for the most part, but decent physique. So it looks like he does work on the docks as well. So he does. He definitely looks fit. Is the right word, I guess, I'd look for.
Okay. That doesn't sound like either guys that I mess with, right?
No, it does not.
Okay. Just curious.
More than likely, the guys you messed with
Are
people who are
guys.
just like, hey, I'm going to try something and see if I can get better higher up on the chain with Elazar, probably.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think we're going to keep looking.
No clear evidence that it's Elazar and his guys yet, is what Lebevic asks.
I mean, you have to ask your guys that. I don't see anything specific. Is the lieutenant back?
I sent word with him from his woman. She said he was there, but that he was getting dressed. We'll see if he shows up here anytime soon. If not, I'm gonna go there myself.
Okay. Where's he at, by the way? I mean, where's his house?
Oh, he doesn't have a house. He's checking up with a woman.
Where is he checking up at? Just
she gives you
if we're on the way by, we could check on him.
She gives you a spot. She basically over here. Yvonne, though, is believe. Where is Yvonne? Baker, Thirsty Barnacle. I know I gave Yvonne some here somewhere. Don't remember where I put Yvonne. Yvonne is on this side of town, though. I believe she's like one of these buildings.
Okay.
The herbalist.
All right.
I never put Yvonne on my map. Well, that's just dumb of me.
Moved out.
No, I mean, I have her written in. I just forgot to put her on the map. Like Tanner is here. Stables are here, but I guess I just didn't put in Yvonne.
Okay, so guys, what do you want to do?
Sorry, the herbalist is Par. I misread the name. Yvonne is the blacksmith. Which, by the way, remember, one of you has some stuff at the blacksmith that need to pick up.
Someone made some bullets, I believe.
Yes. The herbalist is Par Rice. And
have we met her?
No, you heard. So I was using the wrong name, but Rona had mentioned that Par was helping her try to keep Gadner alive.
Okay.
The herbalist. But I totally forgot. I had the wrong name. The name that I was using was one down. I was just reading the wrong name when I was giving you guys this stuff.
All right, so let's go that way, guys. Unless you need us for anything else, Captain, we're gonna keep.
No. You can follow up with what you're talking about. I mean, I'm gonna probably head over and see if I can rouse Liam here in the next 20 minutes. So, and here in a little bit, he needs to be here so we can deal with this and go talk to his mother, Solano's mother.
Yeah, that's any young man, anyone who dies is a tragedy, especially if you have to tell his parents. Good luck. I'm saying that within a not as in a sarcastic voice.
No, I know. She said.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
All right, team.
Where are you guys headed?
So here's what I've got so far. Not to monopolize this, but Rhux is a knife thrower guy, right?
That is the name you have, yes.
He's young. Maybe he's involved in drugs. Maybe he's his parents, or maybe he fell in. We've got the Green Flakes. I'm still kind of curious about the lieutenant. I might check that out if you guys want to go to the herbalist.
We can all stay together. I don't know. You might run into trouble with the lieutenant. The herbalist, I think, is a good thing because that if there is somebody who's been doing this, then it might lead to we might turn that person before we turn the actual knife thrower.
Oh no, I definitely. I mean, we definitely talked to. I'm just worried the lieutenant's going to try to skip town if he did get paid. But that's kind of. I'll go with the group. Do whatever. I just don't think we can all go and watch the house as a group. That was my only thought on that.
You just wanted to watch. I thought you were going to knock. Okay.
No, hell no. I'm going to just change forms, go across.
Okay.
Kind of spy to see if there's anyone. I'm not intending on talking to him or anything like that.
Okay. All right. Well, you do that then, and we'll go to the herbalist.
Okay. All right. So you guys break up?
Yeah, because it's always smart to do that.
All right. So, Marcus, you're heading over here. The rest of you guys are heading over. We're going to call this the herbalist here. Or no, we're going to call the herbalist here. Is that...
That is my plan.
Does anybody have a different plan? Is anybody else going somewhere else? What's going on? Who's doing what?
I'm going with the herbalist. Rhux is going to go to the herbalist.
Okay. Aaron, what did you say? Or CMOP? Cole, what did you say?
I'm going to the herbalist.
Okay. Is anybody not going to the herbalist other than Marcus? Okay. All right, so the rest of you guys head over towards the herbalist. You come upon a small domicile. More than anything, it doesn't look like a shop, although there is a sign above it that shows some plants and things like that.
This is a private domicile.
Knocking on the door, a woman. You hear a woman's voice say, "Come in, come in, come in, come in, come in." Entering in, you see a woman who's maybe in her mid-30s, a very slight shock of gray on one temple. A dark hair. She greets you as you come in. She's like, how may I help you? Herbs are my game. Herbs are my life. What can I do for you?
We want to know about this. Is there anybody? What was it called? What was this stuff called?
Dreamflake.
Dreamflake.
Dreamflake. Are you prescribing Dreamflake to anybody in town?
I don't know what you mean by the word prescribing, but there is one. I do use it occasionally for some people who have some pretty extreme pain.
Like smoking it, like.
No. Tea.
Tea.
Yes, tea will dilute some of the more unfavorable side effects, as you won't be taking it directly into the bloodstream. It takes a bit of time to go through, and she wouldn't know that because its effects are more diluted That's how she would put it.
So who would be smoking it? I mean, who would? You know anybody
smoking
that-
it would be very dangerous and highly addictive. But and she kind of looks around a little bit. She says, "But someone did steal some of my dream flake a few nights back."
You have no idea,
Report
no
it because
clues.
Lebevic might have. Lebevic already has enough problems with having a few of these drugs around.
So you have no clues about, or any information or anything like that
I
about
don't know
who
who
might have
stole
done
it, but it was a few nights back.
Did they break in? Did they leave anything behind? Did they?
They did break in. They leave anything behind? I mean, it was a. They broke the lock on the door. They broke the lock on the cabinet. It wasn't exactly. I was actually out. I was actually up at Old Man Gadner's, helping him in Rona that night. So I wasn't exactly here, but I mean, I'm sure it was not exactly quiet. And they did it was kind of rushed, so to speak. The gist that she's giving is that whoever did it, it was either their first time doing it or they're just bad at stealing. Like they didn't unlock the door, they just broke the door. They didn't unlock the cabinet, they just broke it. They didn't even. It's like they didn't even try to be, nice about it.
But they knew what they were looking for.
But they did know what they were looking for.
And did they rummage around, or did they go straight to it and find it?
Well, nothing else was missing. I mean, Dreamflake is really the only highly addictive substance that I have. It's because it is relatively good at reducing pain for those that really, really need it. I mean, I've had a few. One of the farmers cut off his own finger a couple weeks back. This kept him feeling okay, at least not worrying about it while we could sew it back on. So the stump and keep him from getting gangrene and things of that nature. So it is very useful.
If they knew they didn't rummage around looking for it, they knew they went straight to it, more or less, it seems. Then who would have known where you kept it?
I don't know if anybody would. Well, I mean, it's no secret that I have herbs in my shop here. I mean, you can see, looking around, you can see some of the herbs just up. I mean, and that was the only cupboard that is locked, so it's probably the first thing they did. But now that you mention it, that farmer's son was mighty curious about the painkillers I was giving his father.
What's his name? Do you know?
It was it Bruno? No. That's not Jory's kid. Jory's kid is Rake, I want to say.
Rake?
The farmer's name is Jory. I can't think of his kid's name. It was like Rake or something like that.
Is that similar to what we heard before? I can't remember the name that the other guy said. The knife thrower. No, the knife thrower is a dock worker, not a.
I'm not there. Can I prompt?
Say again?
I'm just biting my tongue.
Anybody else want to help me out here?
Wasn't that? What was that name we heard? The one. It was back when we were looking at the body. You said somebody wanted some sort of competition.
Yeah. Who was
runs
that?
by Rhux.
It was literally 30 minutes ago, guys.
I know, but I didn't write it down, so I'm like
I didn't know his name would
Yeah,
be
I've also
very
heard like
important,
5 other
okay?
names.
That's why I have to write stuff down.
I know,
Okay,
it's fine. It's all good. And you should write it down. I'm happy you guys
Rogue,
are.
yes.
So, yes. Rogue
Okay,
is what you heard.
So I say that to her.
Oh,
Rogue
yeah, yes, that's the lad's name. He works on the docks, I think.
Okay, well now we have pointing to
Found our
rope. Finger.
common thread.
Yeah. Where's the farmer live? Does he live
He's
with
out
his-
to the
does he live-
northeast, but I believe Rhux might live here in town somewhere. At least I know he's. Last time I was out and saw his father said that he wasn't living at the house.
Okay. Oh wow.
Is there anything else I can help you with? You guys need
No,
any,
I think we're good here.
any herbs
Thanks.
or anything? Maybe some concoctions, maybe a tincture, some tea.
Have we already bought stuff from her?
No, just for a time
really?
you've been to Pars.
Yeah. What kind of healing stuff have you got?
Well, I mean, I have some tea that can cure cough. I can give you some willow bark, which would get rid of that mean headache. As she kind of goes through the various things, you get the feeling that she's not she's not an alchemist. She's not making healing potions.
Right.
She's more of that typical, village herbalist who, knows all the little things that help, solve the common problems of things.
Yeah.
That's the feeling you get from her.
Okay. Well, we will keep you in mind. Thank you very much. We're going to take off.
No problem. I'm glad I could help. I believe
Thanks.
I did help. Did I not?
Yes, you did. Yes.
Okay,
you
good.
very
Just
much.
wanted to make sure.
Great help.
Have a good day.
You too.
And if you need any tea or anything, you know where to find me.
Okay.
And you guys start heading off. Marcus, it takes you less time to get to the spot where supposedly Liam is. And you set up camp outside it or something.
Is there, can I do it? Is there a shop or somewhere I can be less
No,
conspicuous
this is
if I'm-
unfortunately we said it was right around here. This is a glass blower here, but most of the stuff is just residences. So there's not really a shop per se here. Some of these places do sell things, but they're not again, it's a residence, kind of like most of the businesses here are residents with somebody inside that sells stuff. Like the baker is a residence and she just happens to sell stuff out of her house. It's that kind of village. But
Okay,
what do you want to try to do?
I'm going to cast Disguise Self. I want to look like just a typical dock worker type. And I'm going to go buy some bread. Is it a baker's there?
The baker's way over here. I just meant that these are similar kind of
Oh, okay. They're not.
places. That's all.
Other than the glass blower, that's the only really place to purchase something.
Well, these are
area.
all domiciles. These are all homes of people that work the fields and things like that. So this is not really anything. The glass blower could buy stuff from, but he's on the other side of the tree and a few things like that. It's not an ideal place to try to watch stuff. It's a small town, man. It's not like you're in a large city where you can. There's a lot of stuff across various things. This is literally somebody's house. He's shacking up with some woman who lives here. Probably one of the farm workers.
I'll go back and sit under the tree directly behind it.
Oh, this one?
No, the one
this
further back. Yeah.
All right. So
because the one I'm not is obvious, and I'm going to eat some bread. I'm just going to sit there and make a little meal type thing.
You're not really going to have a very good view of anybody leaving the front of the house. You could try here. You could try potentially here.
Yeah, let's try the one directly across the house then.
This one?
Yeah.
Okay. So you go down there and sit there, and you watch the house. Give me a perception check. Occasionally you see a shadow go across, the windows are shuttered. Most of the windows in this town are shuttered, probably because of the storms and things like that come in, and the occasional fog in the morning and all that sort of stuff. So they try to keep it more tight than normal. But you can see that the shutters on the this is a main floor kind of room with sort of like a loft, and there is a window shuttered in the loft, but it's slightly open. Every now and then you can see a shadow go across that. But that's about the extent of what you can see. The windows on the bottom are open, and you can't see any kind of movement going on in there currently. But after about 20 minutes or so, which is about the time you guys get done with the herbalist, by the way, You notice that there is movement down on this first floor.
I just wait and watch. Is the captain come by yet? Because she said she was going to come by.
You do not see her currently, but she said she said about 20 minutes
Right.
is when she would start heading by. You continue to watch, and about 5 minutes later, sure enough, the captain's heading up this thing here. You continue to watch. She kind of gives you gives the sailor who's sitting under a tree eating some bread an odd look, but then kind of goes over and raps on the door. A woman opens the door. And give me another perception check.
Okay.
A woman opens the door. The woman is attractive for a hardworking woman, that's for sure. You can sort of overhear, and the perception was more about hearing things. You sort of overhear the Bevic say, "Is Liam here? I've heard he's was here with you today." And it's like she's like, you don't hear what the woman says, but Lebevic says, "Well, one of my guards just said he talked to you about him, and you said he was here." And then you don't hear again. You don't. The woman is the other woman is not speaking very loudly, and she's like, "Well, he's not at the thing. You're saying he left 5 minutes ago. Is that correct?" Like, yeah. That time you hear, yep, totally. He left just a little while ago. You haven't seen him leave.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna wrap my food up and then start down the road.
Okay. You head down the road. What's your passive perception, by the way?
Damn it, why can't I ever find that?
As you're kind of heading past them, you hear Lebevic say, "Well, if he gets back here, tell him we need him at the guardhouse, at the garrison. It's important." He's like, "Yes, sure, Captain. Well, I'll make sure he gets there if I see him." And then she closes the door. And you're past the captain, maybe about 20 feet ahead of her as the door gets closed. So you're not exactly right on top of him.
Yeah.
What is your passive perception?
How do I figure that out? Sorry, I can't find it
on
here.
your sheet. It's just your.
I know.
It's 10 plus your wisdom bonus.
One in parentheses.
Well, that would be a 12 then.
Okay. You get to about here when you notice someone.
Well, in parentheses, it's 13. What happened to 13? Oh, because I'm okay. 12. 12. Yes. Go ahead.
You get to about here and you notice what you're pretty sure is Liam walking down the road this way. 'Cause remember, you talked to the guy. You have a pretty decent idea of what he looks like.
Right. Does he look like he was going that way and then he's hoofing it, or?
He's just walking.
Okay, I'm gonna go on the other side of the house. Well,
You're gonna start cutting through people's property. You're such a nice guy.
I know. No, I'm trying to find someplace where I can change back without being totally obvious about it in front of the captain.
Well, I mean, you're about here. You notice Liam going down this way. What do you want to do? Here, let's make this more easy on you.
Right.
Marcus, where are you? There you go. So you are about right here. Haha. And for now, I'm going to use this person as Liam. It's Blimby, but it'll work. So he's about right here, but on the road. Unfortunately.
They seem to be headed in or out of town.
He's headed south. You see him go from here to here. You know, he's headed south. But he's not running or anything like that. He's just walking in that direction.
Okay, I'm going to go switch back to my normal Marcus form.
All right. Well, so the captain is behind you.
I'm going to talk to the captain. Yeah, I want to preferably change because it's okay. I mean, there's nothing illegal about changing forms.
I wouldn't say it's illegal, but I would also say it's kind of an odd thing for a person to take the form of other people and walk around town.
Yeah, that's probably true. Okay.
Again, not saying it's illegal, but it is odd.
All right, so I'll just kind of follow Blimby. I mean, I'll follow him then.
Okay, so you continue here. You notice that he gets to here.
Right.
And he kind of looks, you see him look around.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see what his... Doesn't seem to notice you. raps on the door to this building. The door opens up, and he heads inside.
Okay.
Now I'm going to move Blimby back here. And the door
I'm gonna-
closes.
Yeah, I'm going
As
to
you-
keep going.
As you
I'm sorry, go ahead.
as you continue, you want to go here?
Yeah, I want to keep going straight. I don't want
Okay.
to go by the
So
building.
as you're going by here, you look over at that building, and you can see there's a sign partially fallen off of it that shows a bed kind of floating on what look to be wavy lines. So you assume it means a bed floating on the ocean.
A waterbed.
Yeah, the waterbed. You're not sure what that means, but I mean, usually that kind of sign implies that it's an inn of some sort.
I was going to say, there are no other inns in the
But
town, are there?
as far as you know, there are no other open inns in the town.
Right.
As you continue on your way.
Yeah.
And eventually the captain
Hey.
kind of heads back up the thing.
So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go into the shop around the market in front there.
Remember, the market is closed. It's set up
Oh,
for the Festival of Blossoms.
Okay.
But I mean,
Yeah,
you can go
then-
there and look around. I'm just saying you can't shop, is all I'm saying.
No, okay. Yeah, I'm going to go around, try to be, and just walk back towards the docks. And as soon as I find someplace I think I can change back to my form.
I mean, you can probably do it at any point. Like the
Okay.
captain goes away this way, you're kind of walking by yourself. There are people on the street, but I mean, it's up to
Can I
you.
go in that
You don't
little-
really know any of them, so does it really matter?
Yeah, no, I'm just going to go in the woods, not make it
Yeah, you
completely
can. You can
obvious.
kind of disappear in here and in
Okay,
here.
yeah, I'll
and-
disappear in there and change
Yeah.
forms back. Actually, there's no reason to. I'm going to head to the
to the
pharmacist, to the herbalist,
Okay.
to meet up with everybody.
All right. Well, you go all the way around to there, and they actually have already set it head back. So,
Well, I mean,
you
hopefully
get there
I'll
and
come
they're
across
gone.
them on the
Like,
way.
they haven't been there. Well, I mean, you're headed this way around. They're coming back this way. So,
Okay.
I mean, unless you turn around and go up this way, then
Oh,
sure.
yeah, is that?
I mean, sure.
Let's see.
You
Yeah,
find
I
them.
would have.
It takes
Yeah,
you a little
okay.
bit, but you find them.
So, and in between, I will change back to Marcus.
Okay.
So, I found the lieutenant, the captain. I think we got our man. He went to a building, and I can show you guys where it is. The person he's supposed to shack up with said he wasn't there, but I was watching, and it was obvious that she was covering for him. So I think we've definitely got part of the issue, and I think I know where his lying low. What did you guys find out?
We
We found out that the drug is just the dude who chucked the knife.
yeah, he's the
It's the
druggie.
same guy.
That kind of makes sense.
Or at least
We do know
highly
where his
suspect.
dad lives, though, right? She told us where his dad lives.
Not exactly.
No,
Just north of town.
yeah, he's north of town. He's one of the farmers that lives in there.
Does he stay at his dad's house?
No, he stays here in town, but he's a dock worker. So
But I mean, the herbalist didn't know exactly where he stays in town. He just said she just said that the farmer when she was last there mentioned his son was living in town.
yes,
So we could go to Blimby and tell her what we found out, and maybe she could have pull with the captain. Meanwhile, someone could watch the house where they're at. We could try just to bust in the house. It may just be a drug den of some type, or
Could be.
obviously something's going on there. I don't think we should go in swords drawn because that makes us look bad.
I believe that Iylis should randomly level to 18 and level the house.
yeah.
That's what should
I
happen.
mean, you know,
Still
a wizard
still
now, you might
looking
be able
bad,
to try
though.
to do him.
True. Can the hobgoblin level the house?
Yes.
I don't think you want to do that. He wouldn't do that anyway. For two
Damn.
reasons. One,
So-
he doesn't want to piss off the town right now. I mean, he's still trying to figure things out. And two, why?
I don't know. I wonder why the lieutenant seemed like
But
a
he likes
decent
this.
guy. He didn't seem like someone who would just be bribed. I mean, I could have misread him. I mean, is there anything that? I mean, maybe he's got something being held over his head. Maybe he owes money or any other
Yeah.
reason you guys think?
Well, but you haven't told the captain where he's at.
No,
Okay, why didn't you?
because I'm talking to you. Because we might want to investigate it first before the captain. Because if the captain gets in and doesn't have the evidence, he can bluff his way out. Right? The captain can't do the same things we can do.
Well, maybe, but he has the law behind him, and we don't. So
But
I'm not sure. I'm not sure that. I think
I'm
that he
just saying
could do.
we should get Blimby to talk to the captain because she knows the guy. Sorry, thank you. And we should watch out the house and maybe investigate.
Okay. Well, certainly let the captain know everything we know. I mean, that's what we should know. I mean, he's got a murder on his hands. He's got a robbery on his hands. He's got, you know,
Yeah, the she.
You know, I'm sorry,
But-
she.
It's all good.
But I mean, it's again, he could just be screwing around. He could say, you know, it just didn't show up.
Yeah, I
Work.
mean, he might be a red herring. He might have his own problems. It may have nothing to do with anything, but he needs to know everything. So, or she needs to know everything. So let's tell her everything.
Okay. I will point out that they might have ears in the barracks as well. So.
Oh, okay. So Blimby.
So you don't think we should go? Let's go find where this guy is, the knife thrower.
Well, we could do that, but I don't want. But he.
Okay, we'll try
the captain needs to know about the other guy because we can't keep eyes on both places. I don't think effectively.
Okay, well we'll try it your way. Let's go tell the captain.
And then we can go to the docks and pretend like we're hiring people and interview young strapping drug dealers. You know.
Okay, let's go tell the captain. That's fine.
Okay.
All right, what do you guys do?
I mean, yeah.
We want to tell the captain everything.
All right, so you guys
we
are
know
headed
so
over
far.
to the garrison. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. Well, we want to talk to her in person,
Right.
or in private, I guess. Is what we're
All
trying
right, so
to do, right?
you head into there, and the guys, all of you head into there, and you can see nobody's really in the courtyard other than a couple guys. Kind of the body's been kind of put into a pine box, for lack of a better term, and is shrouded up. It looks like they're moving it into the guardhouse itself. One of the guards notices you, and he's like, "Can we? Oh, it's you guys. I'll get the captain." And heads in, and a moment later, the captain comes out. Lebevic looks at you guys and says, "Did you find something?"
Yeah. Well, so I tell about the break-in at the herbalist and what we know from there and all that information about
Par's got to stop keeping things like that
Rhux.
from me.
Rhux.
You say you think it's Rhux.
Yes, well, two things have pointed toward him: his skill with a knife and his interest in these drugs. And Marcus here has something to say about the lieutenant or whatever.
You do, sir. What do you have?
So after, when we split up, and I'm really good at disguising myself, I saw you go to get to the tent stop, and I was taking it out, and the lieutenant was never there. He didn't leave. I was there for 20, 30 minutes before you got there. And the girl lied when she said he was there. And then I noticed on the way past, he went down, I saw him on the street and walking, and he went into an old inn, perhaps. There's a building on the south of the street at the very edge of town.
You mean the
It has a
bed tide?
bed. Yeah, it has a bed
Oh,
with
the bed tide's been closed for like a year now. The
he knocked
previous
on the
owner
door.
ran away. We've had a sort of not as many people kind of showing up. So the previous owner closed shop and I believe moved back to Mirabel or maybe to one of the hamlets nearby.
No,
So it's been abandoned for like a year.
right. Well, he wasn't with the girl. There were some shadows in there. Do I think the shadow, this is John asking, did the shadows, they look like the girl, right? She was looking.
You weren't sure. Like you just saw motion, like a shadowy motion
Yeah,
move
so I won't
past the
mention
thing.
that.
So it's hard to say.
Yeah. But he went in, and there was someone who opened the door for him. So there's people in there.
You're saying people live at the bedtide. Well,
Live.
it doesn't shock me. I mean, it is a building. It's no one's claimed it. Previous owner did sort of give up his claim, so.
But in my journeys, if you want a good place to have a den.
So you're saying Liam's there, though?
He was 30 minutes ago. Well, however long ago it was.
Yeah, about 10, 15.
Yeah.
All right, well, maybe I should go down there and see if he's down there.
Well, yeah. I mean, it easily could be converted into a den for drugs. People who's, and okay, this is John Peter.
Why would Liam be doing drugs? He's never shown that propensity for that before.
Okay, well, John's going to ask something real fast.
Mm-hmm.
So is this like an opium den type universe where if you were doing a Dreamweaver, you have like an opium den where they probably deal with it and people...
Maybe in a place like Kaer Morgale, there might be a place like that that's kind of, an illicit drug house that's under the undercover sort of thing, or an abandoned place. It seems more unlikely here in Tyrok's Landing because it is such a small town. Like,
it'd be known.
Yeah, it would be pretty obvious pretty quickly. You know what I mean?
But it's a good hideout.
But it might be a good hideout. Yes.
Yeah,
well, I don't know about the drug thing, but I mean, somebody had to have known that money was coming along the road there and was lying in wait to kill your man and take the money. And so that means that this information that it was coming back had leaked out from your garrison or within your garrison.
Fair enough. It's
and there were no defensive ones.
A reasonable logical leap. I'm not disputing that. That being said, many people could have seen the guard leave the previous day or the day before. He wasn't like he was making it trying to do it stealthily or hidden. I mean, he left in the morning, and he was known around here. His mother, for God's sake, just lives down the way. So it wouldn't be a shock for him to stop by someone and say, "Oh yeah, I'm headed to Mirabal. I have something I need to do there for the garrison." I mean,
well, there were no defensive wounds.
I'm just saying, it's not out of the realm of possibility that.
No, it could be all. But there were no defensive wounds on the guard. It could have been a throw that was just as spectacular, but the horse seemed to stop. It did stop.
It seemed like it had, yes. For your edification.
Yeah, so perhaps the guard knew the person who stopped him, and then was good.
Fair enough. I'm not discounting what you guys have found. Not at all. I'm just saying that.
No.
There are other explanations as well. That's all.
How can we help you with this?
Well, if you say he's down at the bedtide, and she kind of looks. I need the rest of the men here, I think, for today to. See to the body and make sure that we have enough staff to, if anything were to come up. So if you don't mind a quick deputizing, so to speak, or at least allowing you to accompany me and be my backup.
Be glad to.
Sure.
Let us go and speak with poor Liam and see what he is up to.
All
right. And she heads down towards the bedtide.
Should we rush it? Should we surround it, or maybe go a little stealth, so in case they try to slip out the back?
She's like, no, I will. I mean, yes, we should probably have a couple people check, watch the back just in case. I think all the windows are boarded up, so I don't think they'll be coming out of the windows quite quickly, but.
Oh, there's not a rear door or anything?
There is a rear door. That's why I say she does agree that somebody should probably watch the back.
I don't mind doing that if somebody else wants to accompany me.
I can do it.
All right. So you guys head down to the bedtide. So let me put you. Okay, so who's going to be in the back?
I will be in the back.
Marcus is going to be in the back.
Aaron.
Sorry.
I want to be near the back.
So
I don't
there's
wanna
only
be in the
so
front.
much here. I only have so much. Like you can put yourself off the thing. It's not.
Yeah.
But I only have so much of this written or
No, that's fine.
done.
I just want a good shot if someone tries.
No,
to...
I know. I'm just pointing out that that's the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's like there's just only so much that can be. Like I shouldn't have done that in the first place. So you guys can put yourself on either side. Who else? Oh yeah, I put the wrong one there. Sorry, Rhux. I moved Dresd'a too. What the hell am I doing here? I'm pretty bad. All right. So I don't believe I don't have an actual thing for Lebevic, so we'll just do the following real quick. I forgot Lebevic today. Shows you how good I am today.
We forgot to tell Blimby. Rats.
Pardon?
I forgot to talk to Blimby. I wanted to talk to Blimby as well, but we didn't.
All right, give me 1 second, and I will add. We will just use this as Lebevic. So Lebevic is going to head over here and potentially knock on the door, and everybody else is where they want to be, or when this potentially begins. By the way, there are 2 floors to this place, so that's why you can't see down below. There is more to this than meets the eye. And at that point, when everybody looks like everybody's ready, correct?
I think so.
Yes.
Lebevic.
Cat had to step away from the.
That's all right. We're going to stop here in a second. Anyway.
Okay.
Lebevic raps on the door. Liam, I know you're in there. What you doing? Why don't you let us in so we can chat about what's going on? And there's some silence for a bit. I know you're in there, Liam. A couple people saw you go in. Don't make me bust down the door. And from inside you hear, Lebevic, why can't you just leave things alone? Why can't you just let things be? At that point, you guys see the back door open. And a guy starts to come out. And that's where we'll stop for tonight.
Oh.
Man.
It's the knife guy, and he's going to get wrecked.
And we will pick this up here next time because, well,
y'all missed what he talked about the lieutenant's problems.
It's going to take a bit of time to do this combat because it's going to be a combat.
Yeah.
We have.
Y'all missed the herbalist when Peter said something about he had so many problems and the lieutenant. She was talking about the lieutenant, I'm assuming.
No. But that is where we'll end for this time. I hope everybody had a good one this time.
I did. We did. I'm gonna have to run. Ashland just came in,
yeah,
so I'm gonna have
but
to.
we should be good for next week, and hopefully we'll end this up there, and you'll be able to get your ship and start thinking about the future.
Cool.
Sounds
So
good.
have a
Thanks,
good
guys.
time.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.